All right, y'all. Lost in Seattle.
Hey.
This is our third time trying this shit. Episode 19. Finally, we almost hit episode 20. That's a goal for me personally. That'd be how many weeks in a row? Well, I think at one point we weren't doing these once a week, were we?
No, we was doing it once a month.
Twice a month sometimes.
Yeah.
So
a couple times once a month.
That's why we 8 months in and we only at episode 20. Hey, but you know, quality over quantity, people.
Yep.
But on the serious, you gonna say?
Ain't just throwing up episodes and not talk about shit.
Yeah. People probably do feel like we ain't talking about shit, but that's your opinion, sir. But
Yeah.
anyway, we're gonna get into a serious topic to start, at least. Haiti, I'm pretty sure most people will know by the time you see this.
The curses is on their ass.
Yeah, Haiti had another earthquake, a really bad one, a 7.2 magnitude.
Or was it an earthquake?
Yeah, that's a question you gotta ask. Was it an earthquake? I think so. I think so. But yeah, they had another earthquake. Unfortunately, we're gonna show a clip from CNN and them describing the damage that it caused here. Hold on.
As each hour passes by, of course, we see new harrowing images, new accounts of dead being pulled from rubble, seeing images of people being treated in the open air because, of course, there's still aftershocks and many buildings have collapsed in the wake of this powerful earthquake. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry said not only is he going to be traveling to the affected zone, which is really the hardest hit areas of peninsula to the southwest of the capital of Port-au-Prince, but that he as well is calling on the government to put all of the Haitian government's resources into treating the wounded and recovering the dead. Of course, Haiti is going to need help from outside as they have in previous disasters.
That help didn't really help them. You see the previous commercial they had prepared? It said something about Jerusalem. The story of Jerusalem. I'm like, that's funny. They talk about
This is what remains of the...
Oh, it's funny they talk about Jerusalem in that situation with Haiti. But we don't get that deep.
Yep.
But, yeah, unfortunately, they had another earthquake, 7.2 magnitude. And they're going to have to send some more people in there to help Haiti.
No, send some more people in there to steal resources.
Yeah, they want that oil. We saw that. We did a video on that already. They want the oil. There's a gold mine there. They got, what is it? How many trillions of dollars worth of minerals there? I can't remember the number.
I can't forget.
Is it 3 trillion, 2 trillion?
Something like that.
They have
It's
trillions.
in one of the other videos we talked about it.
Yeah, it's trillions of dollars of minerals in Haiti that they want. But they understand that geopolitics with black countries close to America are a little bit harder to get to because black Americans here, let's be honest. If America was to right now announce, we're sending troops to Haiti to help, and then we find out, well, I guess you could say that's bullshit because we saw what the Clinton Foundation was doing to them and nothing really came of it. Nobody really came against them. But I think if the US government sent troops into Haiti now and called itself trying to help them, and then months later we find out that they got military groups pretty much standing outside of mines and on oil fields like they are in the Middle East, people be like, what the hell?
Yeah,
get out of, hey, you have people in America, black people in America saying, get the hell out of Haiti.
Yeah, there would definitely be some outrage.
So I think that's why they haven't done it yet. Because it's particularly the Democrats. They have to fake a certain level of respect, not even support, respect towards black people, that they don't want to do it in your face. Now they'll go bomb Sudan, they'll go bomb East African countries, they'll go all throughout Africa and all that stuff, but you can't do it too close to America like Haiti and Jamaica, because especially now with the internet and how quickly information get through, they'll get too much backlash too quickly. But back to the story, like I said, they had another earthquake, a lot of damage. I wonder if we're gonna see one of those, another one of those situations where you got all these musical artists making a song called "Pray for Haiti."
We Are the World.
Yeah, We Are the World. Bullshit videos.
How many? They done it 3 times.
Well, y'all can just donate the money.
Well, they said they do that for donations.
Yeah, but you can just get the money.
Yeah.
Why you asking other poor people to give poor people money?
Celebrity said COVID been going on. They ain't got it to spare.
Yeah, so you see here it said at least 29 people have died after a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti Saturday morning, According to the country's Civil Protection Service, the US Geological Survey said it's likely that casualties are high. High casualties are probable and the disaster is likely widespread, according to USGS. The earthquake was about 12 kilometers, 7.5 miles northeast of St. Louis de Sud and 10 kilometers deep, according to the US Geological Survey. So,
and Red Cross is there.
oh Lord.
They the ones that stole the money last time.
Now, you
American
remember-
Red Cross.
Remember, I think was it Red Cross had that Red Cross had that scandal
Jesus.
where you had women in the Red Cross that were getting raped. Remember that? I probably shouldn't use that word. Damn it. But there were women in the Red Cross that were being assaulted, and when they go to these other countries, they call themselves helping these countries. So I think it was a woman I think it was an African country. She was she was assaulted by a pastor. I think it was. And another
Was she
woman
assaulted?
Huh?
Was she assaulted?
We're not gonna question victims, Travis.
Victims?
There was another woman in South America who was sexually assaulted, and it became a big scandal.
Why are these women going to these countries?
Well, see, that's the thing. You ask yourself, like, I get it. You say you want to help people, you want to travel and become cultured, but
no,
you can't just go to strange countries and be alone with these strange men. Like, they look at you.
No, they want to go there.
When they look at you as an American woman, they see you as a Western woman that's seen as a whore. So they have little respect for you. They look at you and say, "Why are you in my country calling yourself helping me? You're not here to help me." So, yeah. And let's be honest, a lot of those Red Cross and all those organizations that go into these countries call themselves giving humanitarian aid, they're actually assets for the CIA, FBI.
Indoctrinating the people of that country.
That's why you notice when they do that, they usually go there and they build churches and spread
religion,
Catholicism and, ideologies, feminism.
Ooh, mainly now it's feminism.
Even transgenderism. Remember in the bill last year, the COVID relief bill, inside the bill, they had $500 million, $200 million amount that went to Afghanistan for transgendered research. And it was like, what the hell does this got to do? What is going on? What the hell does this have to do with the other? But and speaking of Afghanistan, by the way, y'all know that the whatchamacallit is back.
The Taliban.
Taliban has now they took over the country. Was it Biden said he coming? Did he say come out of Afghanistan or Iraq? One of those countries he said he coming out of. So of course he says that, and a couple months later, oh, the Taliban is back.
So we can't go nowhere.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's sad.
We got to continue training them.
we really wanted to leave this time, honestly, but
But we got to stay.
They were never gonna leave. They were never gonna leave ever. But another thing that we want to talk about is when we talk about the Haiti situation, is it brings a remembrance to what happened in New Orleans.
The levees.
Now, obviously, like I said, whether you believe the Haiti situation is a natural disaster, or if you believe it is a supernatural disaster, or if it's a man-made event, there is no question that I believe. The reason why I even asked that question is because of what happened in New Orleans. I believe 100% that in New Orleans, there wasn't a hurricane that caused all that flooding. I believe they blew up the levees.
Yep.
I watched the documentary. There were people that said we heard explosions before the flooding.
And it just wasn't black people that said this.
No, it wasn't.
It was poor Caucasians in the area, because we know that you need
confirmation.
confirmation.
The Caucasian or the Cajun?
They all the same. We know you need confirmation from white people to believe something is true. When niggas say it, you can't take their word for it.
That whole
conspiracies.
New Orleans, that whole New Orleans situation is crazy. But I'm gonna show y'all a video from this person on TikTok who I guess deep dived into it. He did some research on it. We're gonna show you what his conclusion was on the New Orleans situation. Hold on.
Was Hurricane Katrina a well-planned form of gentrification? Hear me out with this one. I went to New Orleans last year for Mardi Gras. I did the haunted ghost tour and learned a lot about the history of the city. But there was one interesting fact that still stands out to me to this day. When Hurricane Katrina hit, 80% of New Orleans was flooded. Some parts were 15 feet underwater. French Quarter and the Garden District escaped flooding because those areas were above sea level. We're told the reason of the flooding was because of the breaches in the levee system and the flood walls. But part of me always believed there was more to that story. So I did a little digging. I came across a lot of interesting articles and an interesting documentary by Spike Lee. Highly suggest you all watch When the Levees Broke. They pretty much mentioned how levees were blown up intentionally to flood out predominantly black communities. There were many residents who stayed behind who couldn't afford to leave New Orleans. Many of them report hearing explosions in the lower Ninth Ward before the floodwaters came rushing in. They claimed the levees were intentionally blown up.
Helicopters come over the levee, and I think they were dropping package charges and dropping them on the levee and let them blow up there.
Sounds far-fetched, right? But this isn't the first time in history that the government flooded a town for their benefit. You have the town of Oscarville, Georgia that sits under Lake Lanier, and the Great Mississippi River Flood of 1927, where they intentionally blew up the levee systems to save New Orleans. They intentionally destroyed the levee system in Carnarvon in order to flood the less populated Acadian region of St. Bernard. This flood disproportionately impacted African Americans. More than 200,000 were displaced from their homes. As a result, many never returned and joined a great migration to northern and midwestern cities. Now let's digress and get back to Hurricane Katrina. After the flooding, there were a lot of African Americans who stayed behind who were lynched and hunted down by white vigilante militia.
Let me tell you something about that. I had to break in right there. I show you the documentary on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we saw the documentary.
Of the white people. Now, this was years after the hurricane. And they were interviewing these people. And the white people were being interviewed about what it was like. And they was like, first they were talking about the hurricane and stuff. But they started talking about the citizen policing. And they're like, yeah, we had some fun. They was like, we saw anybody coming through this neighborhood that wasn't from here. It wasn't good for you.
Because it was one particular where the people had to go through a certain neighborhood to get to the buses.
Yeah.
It was almost like a death trap.
Yeah.
We're going to intentionally do this, so you have to go through this this neighborhood, and they're going to shoot you. Remember, there was a black guy who lived and said he couldn't even
leave out his house. He lived in the neighborhood. He couldn't even leave his house. They, on camera, bragged about the hunting they did.
And none of them were arrested. But they still searching for Nazi people and putting them on jury.
100-year-old former Nazis, quote unquote. That's what
trying
they call
them for crimes they did.
That's not us. That's not our words. They refer to them as former Nazis. I don't know if you actually can be a former Nazi. You either are or you aren't. Once you dive that deep into something, you really can't ever get out of it. But
you can't reform.
They can hunt them down 100 years later, 100-year-old. But white people can get on camera and admit, yeah, we went hunting black people back in 2008. Was that 8 or 6?
And you would have to think when he's describing these black people having to migrate.
Yeah.
Did they intentionally do this to black people to get them to migrate to these other parts of the United States to create more interracial relationships? I know that's kind of like just far-fetched.
Yeah, you kind of jumped to that one.
I know. But
I don't know.
Typically in the South, you see black people with black people, right?
I don't think if you would. Are you saying this happened in the early 1900s, 1800s? Or are you talking about?
Yeah.
No.
Remember, we did research on our aunt who moved out west, and she ended up being with a quote unquote
Native
American. So I'm just thinking, when these black people started migrating out of the South, because remember in the South you got to stick together. Did they intentionally try to do this stuff to get black people? We know they did it so they move out of the areas that they wanted to, causing a migration. I know it's kind of far-fetched, but
I don't. If you said something about a migration in the last 10 years, I might agree with you. But back then, no, because they wanted separation. That's why you had Jim Crow. You had segregation.
But Jim Crow was in the South. Jim Crow wasn't in the North.
There was segregation in the North too.
There was segregation in the North, but I'm saying Jim Crow.
But segregation
to the South.
My point is segregation. If they wanted you to marry off, they would have never put segregation in place.
They try to promote like they don't, but they still do it now.
That's not the point. It was a law then. They would have never put that in place if they wanted you to do it. Now they do want you to do it because their population is shrinking. As we know, reports just came out that the white population had was it the biggest drop since in the last 20 years or something, or the lowest birth rate in 20 years or something like that. Even though I think people need to understand the white population dropping doesn't really benefit black people. The reason why I say that is it's not about the white population that gives them power.
It's a system.
It's the system. As long as the voting block is bigger, they're fine. They vote more than any other group, or we don't care about every other group. They vote more than black people. I think how much, like 26% of the black population vote. I might be really butchering that. I read that stat somewhere, but probably higher than that. But 36%, something like that. Most of the white population vote. Well, I say most, but a larger percentage of their population vote. Like we saw in the census that the black population dropped back down to 12, even though it was at 14 a few years ago. And okay, who's doing these numbers? You either you're saying black people are literally negative birth rate, not just, I think they say our birth rate is 1.9. You need 2 to be able to replenish the numbers you lose, just normal natural deaths. But black people at 1.9. So that's not bad. So how the hell our population drop almost 2%? So either you're taking numbers away from black people or you lying about the number in general. We've had the opinion that the number is not real.
The number's not real.
We had that number. I don't think that 12, 13% number is real. It's been 12% since like 1960.
That means that if somebody aborting the hell out of kids.
Well, the statistic for abortion rate is very, very high amongst the black population. I think there's been a lot, millions. So
you know how many Moses didn't abort it?
God.
Keep trying to send them out there, but they keep aborting them.
That was the point of we're not even gonna go that deep.
Okay, let's go back.
Yeah, we're not go that deep. All right, so let's get back to this.
Not only were the rescue efforts delayed, but the National Guard was instructed to shoot the hoodlums. A lot of us remember Kanye West saying George Bush doesn't like black people, but we forget what he said prior to that.
Could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
It's also ironic how Katrina derives from the ancient Greek name Ekatharini, which in turn derives from kateros, meaning clean, clear, pure. Katrina was purification.
See, you see?
See, that's why when you
look up words,
you got to go back and look up like different, because it'll tell on itself.
Yeah, when you go back and look up the ancient, I want to say gods, but the deities that they believed in, and you look at modern culture, it's all throughout. Look at Starbucks. That's an ancient deity, that character they have for Starbucks.
It to me, it ties to the Marine Kingdom almost.
And look, and where was it started?
Here in Seattle.
And where's Seattle?
Water.
Right on the water.
It's the sea.
And if you're somebody that know about the Marine Kingdom, whew, you know that's some crazy stuff.
Y'all those weird looking fish and stuff you see in at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, it can get very strange, as they say, very strange. But yeah, unfortunately for Haiti, like I said, they're going to probably start some campaign soon to
find some way to be getting to Haiti and start stealing resources.
I was talking about donations.
Oh.
They probably wait a week or so before they start that campaign for donations for Haiti. Okay, so now Haiti has to deal with their president was assassinated. They now got vaccines in their country. As soon as their president was assassinated, they immediately brought him in.
And now they've been hit with a...
Now you've been hit with a earthquake. So now, what are the safety things? Now they're going to be telling you need to take the vaccine. You also might have had your house fall to the ground. It's so much. Then you got the political atmosphere there.
Well, what are they doing right now? They're causing chaos so that somebody can come in and save it.
Well, the guy who's acting president right now, he's obviously not going to be there after the election.
No, so they need a savior.
So who are they going to pick? Are the people actually going to get a chance to pick somebody, or is this going to be a stooge?
This is politics, 101. The one that says they can come in and persuade the people that they're going to be able to come in and fix all this stuff. That's what they need. They need a hero in Haiti right now.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe so. But yeah, so it's we're on to something else. I guess we could talk about this earlier than we probably were going. You want to talk about this right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of historical atrocities against black people, there's a new movie that's coming out. Well, it's a movie and a TV show. I think it's been in production for like a year or so. It's not brand new. But it became more of a story recently because I guess it's about to be released or not. I don't know. But this whole thing amongst black directors, producers, writers, when they want to tell the historical narrative of black Americans, why do they always choose trauma? Remember there was a few, was that last year or the year before last? When, what's his name? God, the actor, Samuel Jackson and what's his name was coming out with a movie, Bankers.
Oh, Bankers. I was looking forward to that movie.
We never got around to watching it because they pushed it off. I don't even know if it ever came out. I think it came out, but they kind of pushed it off to another date and kind of just went underneath the radar.
Well, remember, first it was supposed to not even see the it wasn't even supposed to come out because remember, I think the son and the daughter or something from the actual it's actual real thing that happened with the Bankers. Remember, they were battling over, and they weren't going to release it, and then they finally got it passed to be released, and then we never saw it.
Yeah. So when that happened, it kind of was like, I was looking forward to the movie because it was a more positive movie. Obviously, it's a movie. It had a little bit of a white savior in it because the main guy, I mean, not the main guy, but they used a white guy to funnel the money through. But I was looking forward to that movie. And then now, but that movie, like I said, it got pushed off or whatever. I don't know if it ever came out. I'll probably look it up after this. But now there's a new, like I said, it's not new. It's been in production for like a year. But I came across this article of a TV show and a movie about Emmett Till. And the first thing I wanted to say was, again, like how many movies do we need to make about the destruction that our people went through?
Well, some people would say we need to make sure you never forget, or the current generation knows the struggles that African Americans had to go through.
I can agree with that, but this type of stuff you probably should put in books, teaching your school.
Well, they don't want to put that in the books because then that would make the white kids in the classroom feel bad.
We're talking about black schools. There are a lot of schools in this country that are 90-something% black. Most of the black neighborhoods have way majority black schools. So why ain't they teaching it? You don't need to create a black school when the school is already black. Just get the teachers in there.
Well, because you still have kids that are not black that would see this and they may feel,
who cares?
Yeah, you're right. I don't give a damn who cares. I'm just telling you how it would be. Their parents can say, I don't why, my child doesn't blah blah blah. You know how it go.
Well, yeah. So the TV show, and both shows, by the way, or both productions, are centered around the mother of Emmett Till. And it's supposed to be about, as you can see, the first one is called Women of the Movement.
And they just drilling it, ain't they? They just relentless.
I mean, did you see a video on Black News Channel called Women and Women of Color something?
Y'all already know how I feel about. Every week we have to do this.
Every week we gonna do it.
Black News Channel.
Yeah, you find
because I call them network. Yeah. It's mainly Mark Lamont Hill that does these segments.
No, I can't say he's the only one.
He not the only one, but it's like, dude, y'all don't have nothing else to talk about except for this type of shit.
What was the name of the video? I can't remember.
It was black women and women of color something. You remember the week before it was black women and women of color about them earning money.
Yeah, and the people in the
how it's economically, you know, the challenge they're going through. And I'm like,
and the black dude in the comment section said, I guess they don't need black men.
I guess they don't need black men. They replace the women of color with the black man, I suppose. I thought it would be the black family would be the focus.
You would think on a black news channel. But both of these productions are going to center around the mother of Emmett Till, how because of the way she because of the way she handled the situation, it led to more coverage of her son's tragic situation, and she was able to get her message out about the injustice that happened to him. Now, I will say this: there is a certain level of courage and bravery it took to let them put those pictures in the newspaper, because there could have been backlash from black people.
Well, I'm gonna say this: the woman that accused Emmett Till, still alive, came out, did a book saying she lied.
She didn't do a book. Someone wrote a book.
Somebody wrote a book about her confirming that she.
They wrote a book about Emmett Till.
They wrote a book
and they interviewed her. And
they interviewed her, and
but
she
I want to know how did he find her address?
Well, the family should be saying, we need for her to be prosecuted because she lied. That's like saying somebody raped you and then
false
they didn't rape you. She caused his death, so she should be.
Yeah,
she should have to do time for what she did.
Last time when I read the article, guess where it says she's at?
She was in North Carolina, I believe, wasn't she? Yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Don't know the address, but we know it's Raleigh, North Carolina.
So why isn't the family trying to pursue and say lock her up?
Because technically she didn't commit a crime.
She's an accessory to a crime because she caused it.
No, she did not report this to the police. She told her husband. So she didn't report this. I'm sorry. She said this in a store out loud. People overheard it. So she didn't go to the police and say this.
She caused it there.
She did, but technically, she did not commit perjury, or she did not make a false statement or anything, because she didn't tell the police, as far as I know. She said it. People heard it. Her husband and his brother found out about it, and they made a decision to pursue this to a 13-year-old boy. But
threatened by a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, demons. The other article I want to show you. This is about the movie.
China who?
This article is from August 9th, 2021. The other one is from 2020. Like I said, these have been in production, I guess, probably for a while. But the point of the matter is how certain stories get talked about a lot because they know they give political capital. And I'm not mistaken, the Emmett Till Act is still not signed, right? The Lynching Act?
No,
I don't think it's hasn't been signed.
They plan on using it. No, they still use it, and they planning on using it.
Yeah,
so they're not gonna sign off on it.
Yeah, and I found out they said that there has been since 2000 there have been like a dozen black men found in situations where they feel like they probably were lynched, but obviously they just say it was suicide. So you
they
think
committed suicide? They just decided to go outside, screen themselves up on a tree.
Wasn't it in California? They found a black guy. They found a black man on a tree, and it was like he went and committed suicide. Like, wait, he went out his house with a rope, went to a tree outside, and did this publicly.
It was one in the South, one in California, and one in the North. That happened.
There was another one I found out about. I think it was Pastor Darby talked about this one, where they found a man's severed head.
Oh, that was in the South.
Yeah, on the porch. The kids walked outside in the morning and saw that was crazy.
That was in, that had to be in Georgia, Louisiana, one of those states that happened in.
Yeah, so this right here is the movie. And I'm sorry, I gotta point this out.
Yeah, point it out. We don't give a fuck.
This is a Nigerian woman. I guess she's the director or producer or writer. And she went and find Jalen Hall to play Emmett Till. At least she found an African American. I'm pretty sure he's African American. But I gotta ask the question: what does it say? Or I'm gonna say it like this: why don't people from other cultures do more movies based on their own cultures? Do you know how many tragic events that she could tell that happened in Africa and Nigeria? How their government was formed, created. So clearly, this movies that she made is meant for a particular audience. Because I personally believe a lot of these black people from other countries, they wouldn't get the backing if they made movies about their country. I think they're told when they come in, your target audience is this audience. So you got to tell the story of this audience. I think if she walked into the room and said, I want to make a movie about something that happened in her own country, they would say,
Well,
who is this going to be? Who is this audience for?
Some people would say, well, she's just trying to assimilate herself in with, African Americans. She's not from here, so she's assimilating to, be a part of the group. But they ain't the approach I'm gonna go with it. She could definitely help people over there in Nigeria because we see those movies on YouTube and they horrible. Yeah, I said it. They are horrible.
He just going in right now.
Jesus, they are horrible.
Hold on, niggas got some bad movies on.
Niggas got some. Tales from the Hood 2 is the absolute worst
something.
movie
Hold on,
of all time.
Pause for a second. Shout out to what's his name?
He was he's one of those review people on YouTube. Great, he's a great. He has
just my opinion.
Yeah, just my opinion. Yeah, how did I forget him? I'm subscribed to him.
That we were about the movie Tales from the Hood 2. We saw that it was released.
Yeah,
and I said it was back then. It wasn't free yet, and we didn't have the stuff we got now to get it free.
Dude, don't say that shit on the internet.
We can say that. They can't do nothing about it. But listen, we watched his review, and he said, "Don't watch this movie. It's really, really, really bad. It's the worst movie ever. Don't watch it."
I did not take heed.
And because you love the first movie, Tales from the Hood, it's a classic.
Like, I was like, man, just my opinion. He's a great review stuff for movies, but I'm a support.
And we want to watch that movie.
Paid for it. Cash money.
Didn't have to pay for it. I said, you can just wait. Nope.
Because I'm a supporter. I support.
And the movie was that was the worst movie I've ever seen.
I cannot believe Spike Lee put his name onto this movie.
I don't think he wrote a word on it. I don't think he had nothing to do. I think he just put his name on it.
They had the actor from, I think it's called Greenleaf. Great actor. Probably has one of the best top 10 speaking voices.
Yeah.
They let this black man be in this movie that was just.
Well, he was in the.
He wasn't in the first one.
No, he wasn't. It was
the first one's iconic.
Welcome
to hell. But you know what? The same dude from Greenleaf could have did that same thing.
That's why he's known for playing those roles in movies.
His voice. Waste of talent in this movie. Everybody.
I don't know how we turned this into a review of that movie, but that movie was terrible.
They freaking made the little Niglet doll big.
And have
babies. They got the white woman pregnant, and she just had 100 of these little things.
And she died like that. That's how she died.
That's horrible.
But what about the worst one by far? The worst one by far is the one where he got into a crisis with himself because his elders were mad with him he was a Republican. A black man was a Republican. And his elders were mad with him for being a Republican. And they said the reason why you're with your wife, his white wife, is because we helped you get that. And it's like they really painted the civil rights movement
was for pushing interracial
dating. It was like, this movie is terrible.
Well, it might have been because it's out there. Martin Luther King. There's been some stories he had fetishes.
Yeah, it's not real. We don't know if it's real.
We don't know if it's real or not. We won't put those allegations on him.
We don't know. We won't know if it's real until, was it 2030, 2025? When they're going to release the file on him?
That has been said.
They released a file on Noriega. Go look that up. But I think the Martin Luther King file will be released in 2030 or 2025, one of those.
And I'm not going to be shocked by anything that is released in that file.
Well, it also had a lot of propaganda in it. So I'm sure not everything in there is real.
But yeah, I would definitely say some of those people that was in the civil rights movement were definitely for pushing interracial, because you had a lot of people say you're talking black but sleeping white.
I don't know how we got on this, but back to the movie, Emmett Till movie. We don't need more trauma porn.
We need more uplifting, more positive movies that show, particularly, I would say, black men in a positive light.
Well, that's the thing. In all of these trauma movies, the black man is seen as just incapable of protecting his family, and it makes him look very weak.
Even that show on Amazon that we didn't watch.
What?
That show on Amazon, it was almost like
the horror
racial thing.
Is it Them?
I don't know. But
Yeah,
I did want to watch it. I haven't got around to watching it yet.
It's called Them.
After that, I think they say episode 6 or 7 is the worst one.
When I went to the review of it, they didn't give any details on it or detail that would spoil it. But after they said what was in there
about
and how it's just trauma, it's just every episode is just. The one episode I watched by a brother who did a breakdown, I think of episode 9 or 10 or something like that. Very deep. I might show you that video, but very deep episode. That the writer of that show, he really dropped the ball by putting certain scenes in there and making people not want to see it, because there's an episode in there that's really deep, like really deep.
Yes, we did see that episode about when she goes down
to the devil,
to the basement, and the devil, the white. Yeah.
That made me want to watch it, but I can't watch the other stuff. I can't do it. They made that man in that movie the man in that show seemed so weak, but I get the point. He was written that way on purpose. The coward, the coon, was he a coon? I get it, but yeah. But when we speak on this type of topic, obviously, we know in the last couple years, the discussion has been had about people from the diaspora coming to America and playing certain roles, or directing certain movies a certain way that people feel like kind of don't fit. And the backlash from that to that backlash is always, well, you guys, Will Smith played, it was a Mandela, not Mandela. He played, I forgot the guy's name he played. Forrest Whitaker played an African dude, African king, and all
the last king of Scotland.
So, and by the way, what's that woman name in that? God damn. I keep forgetting these people's names. From Scandal.
Kerry Washington?
Kerry Washington made sure she got her white man in that movie too. That every movie. God damn. But
except for Say the Last Dance. That's the only movie.
And in that movie she played a stereotypical
angry
baby
black
mama,
woman,
black
baby
woman.
Mama.
Yep.
They weren't really together. So she's like, we're not really together. Well, all we got to do is dancing scenes. So I guess.
I just got to tell you how much of a piece of shit you is every day.
Just like the other one, what's her name? She was in Drumline. The only movie she's ever been with a black dude. Yeah. You know who we talking about.
Yeah. But back to the original point. We keep sidetracking.
No, it's conversation.
Yeah.
They can skip through this part if they don't want to hear it.
They should want to hear this. But when we talk about African American culture.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, we got to talk about this. When we talk about African American culture, we hear the disparaging things, and I have my opinion on African American culture. Do I believe there is an African American culture? Yes.
But is it our
original? Is it conducive to a successful community?
No.
No. Is it a culture that's completely terrible and bad? No. Naturally, your creativeness is our creativeness is automatically going to come through our culture. But there are a lot of aspects that have been injected into us that we think is ours, but have been put on us. But we won't go into that. But on the surface level, there is an African American culture. But when you look at the movies and the idea of certain people doing those movies and playing influential Black American characters, the discussion has to be asked that, should that be allowed? Is there a certain level of, you have to be here to really know it? You can act a lot of ways. You can act good, but did you really connect with it? Can you really connect with it if it ain't you?
Well, you know what? Some people would say, well, African Americans are not the only people that have gone through slavery and trauma. A lot of these people that are coming from these countries were also ancestors who were enslaved and deal with trauma and such, and they can identify with the suffering and pain that African Americans go through.
Well, the difference is they didn't go through it in America.
True, but the same
Britain
group of people.
Like, for instance, we'll use Britain for example. Britain is a typical Western country. We know that there's a hierarchy there. We know who's at the bottom. But Britain and America have different approaches to what they do. America was, at least in the past, way more blatant, to the point where the whole world looked at them like, damn, how y'all gonna be the leaders of the free world and
you're treating
people in your country like this? Like, they had to fake it. They still ain't doing right by you for the most part, but they had to fake it.
They still faking it.
Britain been faking it from the beginning. So whenever a person from Britain say something like, we have to deal with racism, what are y'all talking about? It's like, yeah, we know. But when we look at the statistics and the numbers, and it's just not the same. You have a different history there. Most people from Britain came from Jamaica, Nigeria. Well, we mainly focusing outside of the continent right now. But most of them came from Jamaica. Or should I say a lot of them came from Jamaica.
A lot of them come from Nigeria too.
But we're talking about outside the continent. So it's like you came from a situation where you were in a black country and your parents made a decision for whatever reason,
poverty,
to go to Britain and try to get a better life. And it's like, now you got to deal with those circumstances. That's not the story of African Americans. It's a different history, is my point. It's there. It's different. Your family made a decision to deal with certain things as a chance at a better life. My family didn't make that decision the same way.
No
That's
choice.
The point. It was a choice. Now, obviously, we know Jamaica and how, those Caribbean countries, black Caribbean countries, are treated by certain nations. We can't not acknowledge the point that there was different choices made or different options were had that weren't given to African Americans.
And they can always say, well, you guys can just leave. Go where? Where we gonna go? Oh, go back to your homeland, Africa. Yeah. That's not our homeland.
That's not gonna happen. Look, man, I have people who are Pan-Africanists. I get it. There's a certain level of optimism you have to have, certain level of hope that it brings to believe in a unification of black people across the globe.
Globally. But
you have to be realistic. It ain't happening. Not at the way that you think it can happen, because people have different cultures. People have different belief systems. The only way it can work is if everybody believe the same thing. And that creates a tribe.
The thing is, you're asking black people globally to come on one accord when you can't even get your United States black people to come on one accord, because you got Hebrew Israelites, you got Muslims,
Christians,
you got 5%ers, you got Christians, you got all these
Buddhists,
atheists. I'm sure there's some atheists. We can't even get one accord, and expecting.
And the reason why we're using religion as a standard, because that is the basis of your culture.
That's why most people can't connect.
And if I believe in the Most High and you don't, fundamentally, we're gonna disagree on the problems and the solutions.
Because the person that believes in the Most High is gonna say, well, you have to put the Most High first in order for things to trickle down. They're gonna say, well, I don't believe. So how are we gonna come together if we can't? No.
Right there, we disagree fundamentally.
We walk away.
We will never agree. We might even agree on the problems, but we will never probably agree on the solutions, because you're gonna believe in a different way than I do how to fix the problem. So we automatically gonna go our separate ways and try to do it our own way.
Because some people will say you got to pray. Yeah. Praying ain't gonna get the work done. Well,
it's not just praying. It's an action.
It's an action. Of course, you're not just gonna solely pray. You're gonna put action into it as far as doing something physically. But still, that's a part of it.
You have to build a connection. But if you're a person who's an atheist, you're gonna say, man, we need to get these kids doing this and that to just change this. And it's like, but how that's gonna happen? You don't agree on nothing. But I want to play this video here from a woman who's a Pan-African, a man and a woman. This is Touré's grandson, I think. If you're Pan-African, I'm pretty sure you know who he is. I'm probably saying his name wrong, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure you know who he is. And his son made comments about African-American culture. And obviously certain people got in an uproar, angry about it. But I want to play what he said and some of the reactions to what he said. And how, to me, the Pan-Africanist, which is normally, not always, African-American, who is looking to place himself somewhere in the world. There's a lot of African... Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sorry.
There's a lot of African-Americans that feel like they have no culture. And so they want to be attached to a real culture as they would see it.
Perfect scene in a movie where she she changed her name to an African name because to just be vengeful to her mother, and her mother said, "You changed your name to this, and I gave you your great grandfather name, and they went through this, they went through this, but you feel like you have to go out and change your name
to be better,
to feel like you are black."
Yeah, and she pointed to, and that movie was Cicely Tyson's movie. She had what's it called?
Brewster's Place.
Brewster's Place.
And remember, even Yvette said how like Beyonce goes all the way over to Africa, to identify with a culture and show this, but you never show your struggles in America, what your ancestors here fought for and had to go through.
Because it's not black.
That is black.
But see, that's the thing. It's not African. I'm talking about
that. Once again, there's a distinction between black and African.
Well, see, right now we're making a point about African Americans, not other black people in the diaspora. We're talking about African Americans who are Pan-Africanists. Typically don't see black as African. That's why they don't want you to call yourself black American. They tell you you're African, and they want you to adopt the customs because they don't think what you are in America is a real culture. They don't think what you do in America is, let's be honest, you gotta go. It shouldn't be respected. They think the reason why you don't get respect is because you're not tied to anything real. That's what I believe. And I'm be honest, I think a lot of Pan-Africanists view it as a religion. Their God is Africa. The continent of Africa is their God. When I see some of the stuff they say, and it's just like,
what gets me is they don't hold Africans accountable for the things they do, but they be quick to jump on an African American for saying something.
And this goes to another point. I'm gonna play the video first before I get into this. Let me just go ahead and play the video of what they said here.
It's that whatever makes you really different, friends and acquaintances and stuff like that. You know, born in America, it's almost like I'm like, you forget that this black color didn't come from Mars, right? It did come from Africa, right? And what separates you from other Americans is essentially your Africanness, right? I mean, you don't eat hot food that they don't for no reason. You know what I mean? You don't have that rhythm. You know, it didn't come from anywhere else. You know what I mean? Anything else that you can, that music or anything else that you think is different, you know what I mean? Like when you go to a white church and you go to a black church, whatever you see at the black church comes from Africa, basically, right? It's that whatever makes you really different, when you do know, that's when you realize it, you know? And it's hard to know because you might meet one random African from, I don't know, I'll say, Nigeria or Ethiopia or wherever. And what they know is essentially their culture. They don't know the other parts of Africa, right? And that's what happened to me when it's like I started traveling and I'd be like, because like I said, obviously I grew up there, and there were certain things like, I didn't recognize in Guinea, but then when I went to other places in Africa, like, oh, that's where that comes from. Okay, that's what we used to do out in DC. That's where that comes from. And you wouldn't see it in one particular country, but you'll see it in another country. So and that's the beauty of, African-American culture, is that it's a Pan-African culture. There's so many different cultures that came to, build a new ethnicity. Friends.
So wait a minute. He's saying a different groups of Africans came from Africa to America to.
No. What he's saying is African-American culture is a mixture of different African countries' culture.
How's that?
Well, he's saying there's certain things that we do that ties into or come from other countries. Like you won't see it in Nigeria, but you'll see it in Guinea or Congo or South Africa.
That just means that.
Make your point.
That would just mean that for me, we're just scattered.
Well, that's his point. He's saying it's a Pan-African culture. But
why is it our culture is seen as Pan-Africanist culture, but they get to have their own separate entities?
Well, you talking about Africans?
Africans.
Well, because he's saying that they don't do everything. See, it's like, what his point is that Black Americans will do certain things in their culture, whether it's dances, certain movements.
He's saying we're a mixture of different tribes.
Yes. So we're not really our own. Well, he's saying right there, we are our own demographic, our own group, but we're a mixture group. We're a mutt group, basically, what he's saying. We're a mixture of different African, whatchamacallit. And I won't charge them because they are specifically at this point talking about Black Americans, but I would say, would he say the same thing about Jamaicans, Haitians, Dominicans, Trinidadians, Will he say the same thing to them? Or is it just a Black American thing? I wonder. Would he say that Jamaicans are a Pan-African culture?
I don't think he would say that.
I don't think he would. Even though I guess you can say that Jamaicans and I think it's Nigerians, they kind of have this thing with each other where they kind of, if you look at their music and stuff, that's kind of, connected. So maybe he would say it. I don't know. I'm not saying he wouldn't.
Afro beats?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying he wouldn't say that. I'm just saying I wonder if he would say that those cultures are Pan-African cultures too. Now, she had a response for people who didn't like his wording there. Even though at the end there, he did say African Americans are their own group. So she said here, ADO's FBA, by the way, ADO's FBA will always be connected forever now. You notice that? You hear me?
What?
ADO's FBA will always be connected now.
Tariq made sure of that.
I don't think it was just him. I think people just automatically went.
Well, let me not put it on Tariq. I will say this.
People that support
like
both,
and they started saying ADOS
FBA.
FBA.
And I agree with it. I don't hate. Look, I don't got no beef with neither one of them. Why would I join their beef?
Me either.
Why would I? Let's say I listen to Tariq, and Tariq starts a beef with somebody. Why would I hate that person automatically? I can talk on it. I can have discourse on their interaction, but I have no ill. I don't hate that person. I like them too. I watch their videos too. I'm not gonna dislike somebody because you dislike them because I watch your videos. If I watch them and watch you, I'm gonna stand on the sideline, see y'all go back and forth, laugh. Like I'm gonna keep saying it. One of the greatest back and forths I ever seen was Tariq versus Yvette. They was like heavyweight fight. The jokes was flying. It was hilarious. But I don't hate neither one of them. I don't. I will watch Tone and Yvette, and I'll watch Tariq, and I'll watch who else is out there?
You watch Be the Power too.
I watch Be the Power. I watch I listen. I keep up with Sandy Darity. I keep up with Dr. Clark Anderson. I'm not a part of that beef. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I look at the information that they put out.
We don't keep up with Boyce Watkins though.
I have no ill will towards Boyce.
I don't have no ill will.
I just never watched his stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we didn't. I don't. I'm speak for me. I did not watch.
The last time I watched Boyce, I can't remember. It was years ago. I would watch some of his videos sometimes, but he always was kind of one of those channels that existed. You were kind of indifferent toward. You didn't subscribe or watch him, but you didn't mind him existing. You didn't hate him. It was just
he has a segment for people that's for him.
Yeah, I mean, but she said ADO's FBA control all day without this clip from behind their laptop cell phones. I'm willing to bet none of these commenting have done close to 1/10 of what this man's father has done for the liberation of our people. All talk, no work, waste of time. Now, his father was a very man had a very high esteem to Tory. I know who his father is. This dude right here.
Why they put the K instead of the C?
You talking about?
In African. They Afrikaans.
Well,
ain't that what white South Africans call themselves? Afrikaans. They put a K instead of a C, don't they?
Yeah, but I think he has a different reason for that. I think it has to do with certain other things, the real name or something like that.
Oh, because they know it was named after a white man, so they replaced the
Afrikaans
K with a C.
I saw one of these Pan-Africanist dude, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he said that the white dude, was actually named after the continent. I don't know how true that is. So he's saying the continent was not named after him. He was named after the continent because he went there and I guess tried to become a power there. So he named himself after the continent to control it. So I don't know. I don't know how much I believe it either. Afro-American culture is Afro-American culture and is equivalent to Afro-Caribbean and Afro-Latino cultures. This talking point is rarely applied to any other black ethnic group or nationality across the diaspora. Put some respect on Afro-American individual culture. You agree with that?
I agree. It's almost like African Americans, we can't ever just have anything to ourselves. We are the only diaspora group that has to share. The other African countries, they don't have to share, but just the African American, you have to share. You can't have any identity on your own. You have to be inclusive with everybody. You can't be separate. When you do that, you're called xenophobic when you go against other black.
Well, I can
groups.
agree with that. I believe that are people from other places. They are allowed to have dual allegiances. Is that a word? Allegiances?
Dual alliance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're able to be part of two communities. They're able to be black, and they're also able to be whatever their culture is from, whether it's Haiti, Jamaica, some country in Africa.
But you notice now they put two flags now. They put the American flag. And who's that because of?
Now, I never used to see them put their flag and the American flag.
It was just their home flag.
All of a sudden.
And them Jamaicans, Lord, and Trinidadians, they love putting
all
their
of
damn flags and everything.
But it wasn't until the last couple years that we started seeing people put the American flag in their picture.
Why? They was called out for it.
People was like, you ain't American. So, yeah. I got to be honest, that exists. If Pan-Africanism is to materialize, start in Africa, get Pan-Africa together. And that's my overarching point. The idea that you can convince Black Americans to become a part of a global Black group when there is no global Black group. Majority of the continent of Africa don't even refer to themselves as Black. They
didn't start doing that to the past 3-4 years?
No, it's not they. A few of them do that. The ones who have been indoctrinated with American media. And it is an indoctrination to call yourself Black. We use that word just because we know that for most people understand. We ain't Black. Black people is not Black. That's not real. It's a color.
With different shades of brown.
White, black, yellow, red. Those are not real racial designations. Your race was your culture. That was your race.
That's a caste system.
Yeah, that's a caste system. Black is at the bottom, white is at the top. And the closer to white, the higher you up you are.
Yellow is after white. Then you got your I don't know, red or brown. Either one. They the same.
Yeah, pretty
well, hell, yellow, red, and brown are the same.
But yeah, another comment said, over the past 3 years or so, I've seen Africans and Caribbeans write articles and start petitions because they felt we were appropriating their culture. I don't recall Black Americans ever going that far over our culture. Our culture is
share.
Ours. Would you count people setting petitions for certain people not to play characters in movies? The Cynthia Erivo chick, there were people who made a petition against her playing Aretha Franklin.
That was ADOS that did that.
And so his point is not right then. There have been Black Americans that have formed petitions to protect their culture.
That was in the past. That was in the last 5 years. I can't say anything before that. They've been talking like this.
They weren't making petitions 10 years ago.
The only reason why Black Americans started doing that was because of the reaction of what they have been doing. Finally, we speak up and we say something. You know what? You don't want to say your shit. Then you know what? We don't want you in our shit.
I don't know. I just think it just doesn't go well. A lot of times you see other people or people from other countries, they don't understand race in America. And the second they understand it, they don't want to be Black because it's understood Black is...
But they don't get affected because most of the time...
Just hold on. When they come to this country, they don't understand race. And then they realize what American race is. And it's like, okay, I don't want to be Black. That's why you'll see things said like, I'm not Black. I'm not regular Black. I'm whatever. So it's understood I don't want to be a part of this. But at the same time, when I'm around you, I'm a part of this. So I can use, your lingo. I can
your access to getting certain things.
So that's where I go with the whole dual personality or dual allegiance to two different cultures. That's the point I'm making. When I can talk one way at this moment, in another moment I can be a totally different part of a totally different culture. And I can exclude you from it. Like we saw with the Juve thing. I can tell you can't be a part of this, or at least that you can't dictate anything in this. That's a better way to say it. But I can come in yours and say, we all should be able to do this. And that's not fair. I can't come in your culture and dictate anything, but you can come into mine and influence everything and tell me what's allowed and not allowed.
That's what they do to African Americans, though.
So
They dictate to us. They tell us what we can and what we can't do.
So obviously that video, they were going back and forth for a lot of people. And I saw something else. And this is where, to me, this is where the denial comes in.
Delusion.
This is where Pan-African denial comes in. And when we say African people, we know that in West Africa, Congo, and South Africa, there are distinct groups there that I know for a fact are directly connected to Black Americans. I know there are people and tribes, or whatever you want to call them, because I think some of them feel like the word tribe is disrespectful now. There are people.
Tribe is a disrespectful now?
They say it minimizes the level of culture, sees it as just, a tribal, bush type culture. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them don't say that. But I know for a fact there are countries in the West Africa, Congo, South Africa that are directly connected to Black Americans. But we got to be honest. This person said Black people sold their people into slavery is a myth. It's not a myth. As a matter of fact, it's completely true. There are some people that are directly connected to us that sold us. I mean, we're not gonna go deep into why that happened or why that would happen, but it's a fact. But I'm gonna show this video from
for profits.
Somebody who posted this in the comment section. And I'll also, once again, we're gonna talk about the denial and the delusion, how they don't want to accept what's true, and which is why, at least right now, there will never be a true bridge built, as they say.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, Ghana, they apologized for their role.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one that held themselves.
I think there's more than one. We also found a video of was it
I said that's one.
Yeah. I said, but there was another one. Wasn't there a woman, a Sheba granddaughter? She signed a letter directed to the United States asking to free.
She wasn't a part of it. She just wrote a letter.
I'm not saying she was a slave trader. I'm saying that she was what's her name? Queen of Sheba's granddaughter signed a letter.
Well, not her granddaughter. Great.
Well, they said great granddaughter. They didn't go into how far down she was.
Great.
It just said great granddaughter. It didn't go how long it truly would be. But she signed a letter petitioning the UN to have African people she said they dismissed her, basically. They ignored her.
Shout out the person who came up to that.
Her name was
she was on Thoughts.
Is it African Diaspora United in Christ?
African Diaspora United.
Yeah, African Diaspora United in, I don't know, African Diaspora Israel United in Christ, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But she
has a video on.
She had a video on the African queen and Egyptian queen, or Sheba, Queen of Sheba's great granddaughter, sending a letter to have Black people throughout the globe. I don't know if she wanted them to come back to Africa or what.
Freed, whatever.
Freed, I don't know. But yeah, we're going to show this video now.
For profits. They already knew that slavery was widely practiced in West Africa. In most African nations, it was an alternative to a prison system.
Those who committed crimes, convicts, could be sold into slavery. If you owed a debt, you could be sold into slavery. Sometimes through deceit, or you could be tricked into slavery.
Now that's a different type of slavery. Being a criminal or own a debt. That's how it usually went. If you owed a debt, you would be, it's not really slavery, it was servitude. You were a servant. You had to work off your debt or work off the payment for your crime. It changed in America, but we'll get to that.
Slaves were also acquired as captives of Africa's wars. Europeans had long been part of an established system for bartering them.
The first Europeans who came to Ghana were the Portuguese, and they arrived in 1471. And when they got here, they found that there was a brisk trade in slaves between Ghana and its West African neighbors. And for 100 years, Portugal remained on the coast of Ghana and took part in this coastal trade, going to Senegal, bringing goods from Senegal, from Nigeria to Ghana, and bringing slaves in exchange for gold. And this was a situation before the transatlantic slave trade was introduced.
The Royal African Company had no interest in the coastal trade. They wanted slaves to ship across the Atlantic. They found a ready supply in local prisoners of war.
When you went to war and you defeated the people, you took captives home.
So yeah. Also, when you go to the Portuguese, I told this already, the Souza family. I'm gonna keep bringing that story up. Look up the Brazilians in West Africa, Afro-Brazilians in West Africa. I ain't never heard nobody talk about them. And you go, how did they get there? Oh, how did they get there, sir? But let me show y'all this right here. As you can see right here, he dropped this video, So Black. And this person right here responded. It's because it doesn't recognize the power structures to which decisions like that were made. It also doesn't acknowledge the fact that the first slaves were taken against their will. We have documentation from the first slave ships. They were not freely sold at all. But the woman just said, the African woman.
We just gonna ignore what the fuck she said and just go with our own narrative.
Africans sold Africans for centuries. Stop lying. There is no redemption or deception. Africa must redeem itself or its crimes against the crime against its people. Stop ignoring the power European countries have over African countries. This is basic history. If Africa was a superpower, then it would be so today. They would own the diamond mines. They don't. Want to know why? Because Europeans stole it and sold actual people as slaves.
You just gonna continue to be delusional.
See, this is
logical left.
This is what I was talking about. His God,
logically left. Sorry.
His God is Africa.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about with Pan-Africanism. It's nothing wrong with wanting global black people to be unified. One, you got to understand that there's different black people. There's black people in India, Afghanistan, Iran,
China,
Israel,
Japan.
All throughout, there's black people in every country. Madagascar, Australia, Papua New Guinea,
Palestine.
Hawaii.
Well, Papua New Guinea is a black.
My point is, it's not the same black people. They're different people. They're different cultures. So, do you really expect a person from Papua New Guinea to have the same ideas as a person from America?
They eat fucking people.
How about South America, Mexico? You got people in Canada. There's black people all over the globe. You're asking for all of them to agree on the same thing. You have to. Only way that can work, and the fact that they're the majority, so they're not going to view things like the same way. Because they keep comparing it to Caucasians. Caucasians don't believe the same thing, but they understand "quote unquote" white supremacy and being together. You know why? Because they're the minority and they know it.
They know they got to stick together.
They know it. There's a reason why they started the United Nations, and what's it called? This cat is crazy. Hold on. So yeah, you have to convince your household to be in order before you try to convince the whole globe to be in order.
We can't even get black people to agree on reparations. We got niggas saying we shouldn't get reparations.
Yeah,
like what the fuck? Okay,
you want black people across the globe.
Don't give it to them. Include it in everybody else's.
Get a cut to everybody else.
Shit.
But you see here, somebody said, what happened in West African nations sold blacks to the Euros? The Euros built massive wealth and power and was able to come back and conquer all of Africa, save Ethiopia. There was no technology, planes, satellites, has power landed. Wait, what? There was no technology, planes, satellites, has powered land vehicles. Africans took part. First slave ships did not involve selling. You can repeat that as many times as you wish, but it doesn't make sense. Yes, it did. Africans were selling Africans long before the Portuguese started buying them. Fuck out of here.
That's me. He from Memphis.
Nope. Not according to Captain's Ledger. Sorry, dude. You can't rewrite that. It's well documented how the first slaves were captured. Reread what I said again. Africans were selling Africans long before Europeans became a market, of which the Portuguese were first. If you're talking between tribes, that's not unique. This happened all over the world. People are not talking about tribal slavery. When there reference it. The first slave ships were from the Portuguese. Turning captured people from the tribes isn't unique. So if you're another meaning, please elaborate. And this is where you just give up.
And the thing is that Pan-African dude ain't gonna stop. He's not going to stop.
That's why at this point, the conversation kind of went down. And let's see what Claude Anderson had to say.
Anybody came into an African nation like Mali, going around practicing what I call benign slavery. Every time anybody came into an African nation like Mali, Songhay, what they were saying is that, well, I'll do business with you, but you got to buy one of my slaves. And the slaves were their own people. And they were playing games with slavery, saying, well, it's a tribe, he's a different tribe, so I'll enslave him. But the slavery that blacks were practicing was not the same vicious kind of slavery that came later. But the fact that they were playing with it, condoning it, and willing to sell their own black folk out naively. Now the question becomes, why were they doing it? Okay, why were they doing it? They were doing it trying to impress people with their power, how strong they were, saying that I would do business with you, but let me show you how strong I am. I got 3 or 4 blacks in the back room, and you buy them from me. And then I'll sell you some gold and silver.
Interesting.
And like he referenced, slavery there was much different than here. Slavery became racial around the late 1700s, early 1800s. That's when slavery in America became a racial, I guess you call it corporation, enterprise, institution, I guess. Because then
they started the caste system.
The caste system started, there you go. The caste system started late 1700s, early 1800s. That's when it became what it became. Before that, there were people from all over the place that were servants, what do they call it? Indentured servants. Irish people, white people. There were some black people that were indentured servants, Asians. But it became racial around the early 1800s. And that's when we know the story, we know the history, how bad it got. Even though there's more people that you would consider slaves now than then. I think they say at the height of slavery there were about 1 million people
in slavery.
But there's more people in prison now. So that's the new slavery.
Found a way
to get your ass. What's it called? The 13th Amendment was supposed to get you out of there unless you commit a crime that you could be enslaved.
It got you out of there, but it threw you right back in.
Now, this is ghetto intellectual, another Pan-Africanist. Claude Anderson is good on do-for-self economics. He doesn't know much about the so-called slave trade. He should stick to topics that he's informed and stop misinforming people. I'm pretty sure Dr. Anderson is way more educated and informed on this topic than you are. Nobody is misinforming anyone. Do your research and show resources before you come here saying anything.
Oh, here we go again.
I've been following him since 1993 or so. This is not his area of knowledge. He's making vague claims. He never cites credible sources on slavery. It's obvious from what he said that his knowledge on the slave trade is superficial. I bet he's never touched the archive on slavery. He definitely referenced plenty of books and more than economics. If you've read any of his books, he cites his sources very well. Stop it. Ghetto intellectual, he's like a guilty pleasure that I enjoy reading his tweets, because I disagree with him. I guess am I a hater?
Hater for who?
I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. Ghetto intellectual.
Oh, you see him all the time.
But I go to his Twitter sometime to read some of his tweets and the responses. I don't hate him, but am I a hater? I'm stalking his page. I'm not stalking it, but I'm going to his page every once in a while to read his comments that I know I disagree with. I think I'm a hater. But I don't hate him though. I don't dislike him.
First step is acknowledging that you have a problem.
No, I acknowledge it. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I just disagree with him. But I definitely go to his Twitter.
Are you willing to accept the power higher or greater than yourself? 12-step program. Are you willing to accept the power greater than yourself?
Somebody said
Stop stalking that damn man page.
It's entertaining. I'm sorry. Exactly. Where is Africans' wealth from slavery? We can see the massive wealth Arabs and Europeans amassed from slavery. It perhaps happened, but it was blown out of proportion. White people invaded a territory and kidnapped people. That's it.
Yeah, you have your personality is you find joy in watching content that you disagree on it, like nothing but Knicks. You find that you like watching that type of stuff. You don't necessarily agree with it. I think you like to just see other views or points. That's just kind of how your personality is.
I don't know. This guy here said, "Why do you say it's a myth?" He said, "We had a system that they called slavery, but it was an act of war. 7 years treated humanely. How do you know that? You sure they weren't sold into sex slavery? You sure they weren't sold to? Come on, let's stop the bullshit. Let's not glorify it and turn it into romanticize African slavery. Let's not romanticize it and turn it into that. You don't know how well they were treated. They weren't treated the same way as America, but let's not act like they were damn near living in the same house as them and sleeping on cotton sheets. Like, come on. Then free to go back to your family as a whole man. Whites saw this and manipulated the process. You think our ancestors would have agreed to 400 years of inhumane treatment and robbery? Are you saying that the settlers were unaware of the conditions which awaited those sold into bondage?" Yeah, she kind of. This is one of the situations where you're unable to speak against her God. Exactly right, sis. White people propagandized the myth of slave trade when in fact it was an act of war. Of course, bro. But we're African people talking to each other here. We have to take responsibility for truth. So obviously they defended. What they're doing right now is they don't understand. They're also defending slavery from African people.
It's okay when black people do it, but it's just not okay when white people do it.
They're defending slavery. They're saying, yeah, if you go to war with somebody and lose, they should be able to put you in slavery.
Which is in the Bible.
Which is scriptural, which is historic, but they're defending it. They're making a point. We should have went into slavery if our, whatever tribe, if you believe that, lost. We should have went into slavery with those groups, but white people did it worse. It's like, bruh, let's not do this, man.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's change topics for a second. We're gonna go into, I don't know, should we stick with this?
Yeah.
We can still go. I don't know. This is kind of dragging its own, but we're gonna go ahead and stick with this. Fuck it. I saw another tweet.
This is a flat out lie.
You think so?
I'm not saying that there are not black Americans who don't bleach their skin, but when we do it, for some reason, we don't look ashy. You could tell when these, mainly throughout the diaspora, when they bleach their skin, you could tell.
Okay. So what happened is Justin Bieber did Afro beats. I'm not gonna play the song. Justin Bieber did some Afro beats, and I don't got a damn thing to say about it. None of my business.
None of my business. I don't care.
None of my business. So he did it, and they were praising the attention that it would garner to the music genre. Mm-hmm. Like I said, none of my business. And this person,
I'm gonna say this though: black people, black Americans, if this was R&B,
yeah,
we would have been on like stay in your mute. You know, that's not your genre of music. But
well, he does do R&B.
I know, but and some people, no, they don't consider that R&B.
Some
they
people
don't consider Justin Bieber an R&B singer. Who? He's a pop singer.
I'm not saying us.
You see how I'm like, he's not a R&B singer, he's a pop singer. But just to get clout and attention for your genre of music, I understand why you would be happy. Like you were happy about Adele rocking Bantus.
This person said, as a Jamaican, I'm telling Africans, especially West Africans, to close your borders before it gets out of control. Close them now. Should African Americans also close their borders to Africans still using hip hop? African music influenced hip hop. Slaves from Africa took the African tune across the Atlantic, and the rest is history. Keep playing yourself. The motherland birthed everything and everyone. Lie again. How is it a lie? All the rhythm and blues have tied to African, bruh.
Who? What songs?
No, the fuck it does not. We're black, and majority of our ancestors carry some shit that contributed to the culture we have today, my nigga. The obsession with trying to distance ourselves from Africa 24/7 gotta stop at the descendants of those people, bruh. Wonder why everyone didn't think of this when Africans accused African Americans of appropriation. I don't even know what you're talking about. But if they did, that's some stupid ass. Yeah, it's stupid for real. But this talk about appropriation not only started popping up when Africans realized that African Americans would do a world tour, but rarely included Africa in their tours. Yet they'll use the culture to further improve their sound and the techniques. It felt wrong just saying.
What is he talking about?
Beyonce. Let's be honest. African American artists do not tour in Africa. And they say, so for instance, Beyonce would do a song that has some Afrobeat sound in it. Now she does do that. She's been doing that. But when she go on tour, she don't go to Africa.
No, the problem with that is, which is true, I don't know Beyonce's tour.
She don't.
If a person goes to Africa, they want the artist to go to all 50 countries. 54 countries in Africa. Because if you don't go to one, they're going to feel slighted or jealous. You can't go to Ghana and not go to Nigeria.
Oh, they used to spell you name them, Lord. Wasn't it Cardi B?
Yeah, Cardi B.
She traveled and went to both those countries. You have to go to both of them because if you go to one.
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah, I think some artists do feel that I'm not going to go to all those countries.
That's like going to North Carolina. And North Carolina has 100 counties.
Yeah.
And when they go there, they got to go to every. No, they ain't how it work. You go to Raleigh, or you go to Charlotte, or you go to Fayetteville,
and that's about it.
You don't go to Hope County for a damn concert. You go to the main popular cities. That's where you go to. You want Beyonce to go out there perform in a damn hut?
Okay,
what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
This dude name is Ku Klux Klan. He said, "Laugh my ass off, bro. What sound? What techniques? Y'all motherfuckers have horrible accents. No one wants to hear. What techniques y'all have contributed zero to music or society itself. We want you away from us Black Americans." And this dude kind of, he kind of,
Damn.
This is what his name is. Coon. What's his name? He said, African American culture lacks so much compared to African Caribbean culture. Then somebody said African Americans were stripped of their culture, but built a whole new one and is still the most influential and imitated globally. Why don't y'all do this?
Damn.
See, this is where I was saying how this.
They don't want the smoke.
These diaspora wars.
We try not to give y'all the smoke.
These diaspora wars do nothing. Y'all can't get mad at Black Americans for gatekeeping our culture. Our culture is just as sacred as anyone else's, but y'all don't view it that way. Lord, you see, look at this shit. This is a divester, ain't it? See, I noticed something else. We're going to get into that too. Let's see what this will say. There's a broader conversation to be had here about how the commodification of Black American culture makes us feel entitled to anything simply because we're also Black, despite the fact that we're very quick to tell Black Americans what belongs to us and not them. I noticed something, by the way. These divestors, or whatever you want to call them, they're starting to rep that Black American flag. I think this ADOS FBA thing is going to be turned into, I think it's going to be segregated. It's going to be a split amongst that. Because you're going to have the people that want to call themselves American, not Black. And they're going to use ADOS FBA to push, I'm American. And I think that's going to be a very negative thing. I'm going to say it like that. I've seen some things. I'm not going to show it, but I think it's going to be very negative possibly in the future. It might not be a big thing, but I think it's going to be a negative thing that's going to exist in the future at least. But obviously, they went back and forth with this stuff. And the whole point of this is this tweet right here. This person said, Black Americans actually bleach their skin more than other people in the world. That's a fact. And I have stats to prove it, not hearsay. Is she? I don't know. Who buys all the skin lightening from Walmart? CVS, dermatologists in America, not Africans. Stop being delusional and denial, sir.
No, y'all immigrants buy it.
Let me tell you something. I personally don't know anybody, any Black American woman who bleaches their skin.
Or man.
Oh, yeah, you got to see the man, too. The only people I think that bleach their skin that's American is maybe celebrities.
Celebrities.
Maybe Beyonce. Maybe Nicki, I know Lil' Kim is not Black American, but she did it.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj is not Black American either.
I forgot. Yeah, she not. Yeah. So Beyonce is probably the only one I can think of.
Sierra, same color.
Yeah. I can't think of any Black American.
And let's be clear, here in America, African Americans who are of a lighter skin tone between your brown all the way up to your quote unquote light skin, we get darker in the summer, and in the wintertime our skin lightens up a little bit, lights back up to its natural color. That happens in America. I naturally get darker in the summertime and I lighten back up in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's kind of normal.
That's normal.
Yeah. So obviously, the reason why we talked on that topic is because the Pan-African thing, we wanted to address it. Pan-Africanism, as far as the way they explain it, is a pipe dream. You're never going to get the entire Black population, global population, to buy into one absolute understanding of who they are. It's just not happening. And this is more spiritual than physical, honestly. But
true.
I do want to show this video here of a professor making the point that Africa does need to stay poor in order for Western countries to stay wealthy. So when we say all that about Pan-Africanism, the truth of the matter is they are being drained for their resources.
Yes, they are absolutely being drained for their resources.
So make sure we say this. We're specifically talking about the ideology of Pan-Africanism and how it can't work. It can't. Even amongst Pan-Africanism, they don't even have a belief in the economic system they should be under. Some of them are socialists. Some of them are capitalists. Some of them are communists, Marxists. So Pan-Africanism, you have to have a foundation of belief amongst yourselves before you can try and sell that ideology to other people. But the actual continent of Africa has been drained of resources the same way we believe they're trying to do Haiti right now. So let me just play this video here of this professor.
Africa, historically, sub-Saharan Africa, has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. Okay, but this is the opposition that they're fighting. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so this is what it's fundamentally about. What I want to show you is how these structures are operating. It's just 20 minutes, so we can't do very much, but just to give you a little bit of an idea. And why I keep the ideology part there is because we are part of the producers of ideology. At universities and academic institutions, we are complicit in this whole enterprise. Okay, so the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay, and to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. You know, so This is what we do in academic institutions, and I want to show that as well.
So, yeah.
We know that's what you've been doing for years. You stay in Africa stealing their resources, their natural material, their gold, anything to keep y'all afloat. What country was that? France?
You mean?
Something happened with France in one of those countries where they literally said we're not going to use your money or something. It was a while back. I can't remember.
You mean Gaddafi?
It wasn't Gaddafi.
It was Nigeria, wasn't it?
One of those countries said that
they were going to move away from the French.
They're going to move away from the French. And
they was like,
no.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. I think that was either France or Ghana.
One of them.
When they said not France.
Nigeria or Ghana.
Nigeria, one of those countries that said they're going to leave the French currency. They didn't want to use it anymore. They had their own. And then France is like,
no, you can't do this.
I think they did something. I don't know if they ever left or stopped using it, but they did something to convince them not to continue using it.
It was one of those West African countries. I don't know which one it was.
But yeah. So, but, you know. All right. Let's move on to some domestic politics. We got to talk about, you know what? Hold on. 6. Okay. Hold on. All right. FDA approves third vaccination shot for at-risk patients.
The booster shot.
Yep.
Which Moderna or Pfizer, one of them said they were going to need
2-3 months ago.
And they were like, they were like, no, we don't need. So the FDA approves it.
Yeah.
So they're approving the vaccine now.
Yeah. But I could have sworn I saw them say like a month ago, we don't want to give a third shot because some country hasn't even gotten it first. But so think about it for a second.
It's about to start getting tough out here for people that are employed.
Yes. If you've been given 2 jabs, you're fully vaccinated. They're saying you need a third one, while at the same time telling other people you need to get your first and second one. What are they doing? I think they said you don't need a third shot to hope that people would say, okay, well, if I don't need a third one, I'll go ahead and get fully vaccinated.
But you would think,
but the numbers probably didn't jump as high as they thought they would.
I mean, I'm just, I just asking a question. You would think, well, I done had 2 shots. I got to get a third one. So people who haven't even got the first one are like, I'm gonna have to get 3 shots to be secure.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Where does this end? A 4th shot, a 5th shot, a 6th shot, a 7th shot. So this is like the flu. Every season you gotta get a shot, pretty much, huh?
It's gonna turn into that, I think.
But normally you just get the flu shot in the fall. You don't. Early summer, early fall, late summer, early fall when you get the flu shot. But the COVID-19, I guess you got to get a shot every 3 months.
Well, didn't they say that it only supposed to last 8 to 9 months, or is it 4 months?
4 months, 4 to 5 months, I believe.
So
maybe 6. I think it's 6 months.
So
half a year.
It's been 8 months. It's time for some people to get their next. But yeah,
tune up.
But yeah, nearly 10,000 breakthrough cases reported in Massachusetts. You see the rest of that? Ain't that a higher percentage than a person who? Let's move on. COVID-19 Delta infections may produce similar virus levels regardless of vaccination status, early analysis suggests. So, what's the point? It does nothing for me, right? According to this said by Sky News.
Survival of the fitness.
The fitness? You mean the fittest?
Whatever. They know what I'm saying. Survival of the fittest, whatever.
Now, something else I found out. COVID vaccine mandates and job listings jumped by 34% as Delta variant sparked surge in virus cases.
I see. That's why I might get hit.
So over 1/3 of jobs being listed have a vaccine mandate.
Honestly, I believe that's your bars.
Probably.
That's your bars and the businesses.
Restaurants.
Your restaurants.
Public service workers.
Public service workers. I'm not going to say all restaurants. I'm going to say people like who you have here that are requiring if you want to go into this beer pub or whatever, you got to be vaccinated, which means if they are vaccinated, if they're asking for you to have a vaccination card, their employees have to be vaccinated as well to work there.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, you know that
in New York too, the gyms and stuff.
Yeah, you know, Wendy's is now doing a full delivery system now, delivery kitchens.
Because it'll never be the same. Let me tell you something. There is a McDonald's in downtown Seattle on 3rd and Pike. If you ever been here, you know where it is. They have not opened their doors.
It's
still boarded up. They created a window where the door to enter to McDonald's, double door. It's now they've created a little hole slot to hinder your food. Now, the pandemic it's supposed to be open now. Yeah. So why has McDonald's downtown not reopened their doors?
Because they ain't planning to open.
Because they're not. They know that something's going to happen, and it's just pointless to open up their. That's a popular McDonald's downtown.
Yeah. Verified. Yes. If you are fired for not getting a required vaccine, you can be denied unemployment benefits.
So, if my employer comes to me and said, Travis, in order for you to continue to work here, you have to be vaccinated. And I'm like, I do not want to take the vaccine. And they're like, so fired.
Yep.
They fire me and I go try to get my unemployment.
They say, are you vaccinated? No. Why would you fire? Because I wasn't vaccinated. You can't get it. Look, man, they coming down hard on people. Now, earlier in the videos we did, I mentioned that if you want to save yourself from this, you just have a letter written saying that you will take legal action. You will take the vaccine, but if you suffer any injury or death, legal action will be brought upon the company.
That's a bluff.
That's OSHA. That's supposed to protect you.
And they say, okay, we'll cover that. And then you say, then you're caught because you said, I'll take the vaccine. No, I'm not taking the vaccine.
No, if you write in the form of letter saying the only reason why you're taking it is because they're making you.
And they say, okay, we agree to this.
If you get injured, you sue them.
So I'm supposed to take the shot though.
Yeah, you have to. If they give you that ultimatum.
I'm not taking no shot.
Well, you got to quit.
Then it is what it is. Stop trying to persuade people to do what you just said.
How am I persuading them? I said it's the only way to get out of it if you don't want to quit your job.
Stand on your square.
If you threaten to sue them, they're less likely to make you anyway. OSHA changes policy on the workplace vaccine requirements. They always make sure they stay a step ahead, don't they?
Listen, it's only 2 employees throughout the whole building where I work at that don't have vaccine. I am one of them, and one of my employees are one of them, and we both are black. The only 2 black employees in the whole building.
Hold on, where is this down? There was a article written. Here you go. Yeah, this article here. OSHA changed policies. Yeah. OSHA changes policy on workplace vaccine requirements. This was written May 23rd, 2021. Yeah. So in the old policy they had, it said if an employer requires an employee to be vaccinated, adverse reactions to the vaccine are considered work-related by OSHA. Employees who require COVID-19 vaccines must notify OSHA within 24 hours of an employee's inpatient hospitalization or within 8 hours of the employee's death resulting from the adverse reaction. For employers subject to OSHA's record-keeping requirements, if the adverse reaction meets the general recording criteria, e.g. days away from work, restricted work, or transfer to another job, or medical treatment beyond first aid, the reaction must be recorded to the employer's OSHA 300 log, even if it does not lead to hospitalization. For example, if an employee uses a sick day because of a fever and chills following administration of the vaccine, the reaction must be recorded. On the other hand, if the employee merely requires over-the-counter medication to ease soreness in the injection site, the action need not be recorded. So they're basically saying, if you get any injuries or something, illness, you need to record this as an effect of the jab. Well, they changed it. DOL and OSHA, as well as other federal agencies, Federal agencies are working diligently To encourage COVID-19 vaccinations, OSHA does not wish to have any appearance of discouraging workers from receiving COVID-19 vaccination. Also does not wish to disincentivize employers' vaccination efforts. As a result, OSHA will not enforce 29 CFR 1904's recording requirements to require any employers to record worker side effects of COVID-19 vaccination through May 2022. We will reevaluate the agency's position at that time to determine the best course of action moving forward.
So the companies are not going to be held liable?
No. If you get injured, you can still sue. It's still workers' comp. You still can get workers' comp, but they don't have to record it as a effect of the jab. They literally are trying to hide numbers
because it's bad.
They're basically saying, okay, you can get workers' compensation, but they don't have to record it why they gave it to you.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, the new marketing person that started, she has COVID-19. She started a week. She been there for a week, and she has COVID-19, and so does her boyfriend, and she has been around people at work. But the doctors told her window was after her window started Saturday.
Wait, was she vaccinated?
So that's a window.
Wait, was she vaccinated?
And after that happened, they sent out letters to the residents, and now everybody is required. Residents are now back required to have their mask on in the building.
So wait.
And a resident came up to me the other morning at the door and was telling me he shook. He got that letter. He shook. He was like, "So there's a couple of your employees that have not been wearing the mask properly.
Oh, he checking y'all ass.
It's underneath their nose, or
yeah.
It's not it's not fully on. You're not wearing your mask." And I said,
scared. This nigga's scared.
Yeah, I said, okay, Mr. Wolf, I'll make sure that the employees are properly covering their mouths.
So basically, what you just said was a fully jabbed. She got all the candy.
Yep.
Still got
2 pops.
Still got sick. Still got.
Won't be back until.
She still got a sweet tooth.
Won't be back until August 20th.
Yeah, she's gonna be wild. But I don't understand. Ain't she the same person that came up to you and said she fears what happened if they're losing you because you're not vaccinated?
No, that is the regional manager.
Oh, okay.
The regional manager is the one that came in and told me this.
So when did she get her jab?
She been got her jab. She didn't got her 2 pieces of candy a while ago.
So she
like January. She got both of her.
So she had got it from somebody.
It's her and her husband. So
her husband.
I mean her boyfriend. So either he gave it to her or she gave it to him. All I know is she been all up in the area.
Oh, first-hand case, people.
So this is the 3rd person where I work at has gotten 4 people have gotten COVID. Nobody has kicked the bucket.
Oh man, look at this. Come on, Lamar Jackson, step up and save Black lives by getting vaccinated.
Save Black lives? Wouldn't it be save American lives? So you are just targeting the Black audience, huh?
Well, this is the continued push that they believe that Black people are led by their athletes. So, of course, let me try to find this article. What was that?
I thought they didn't see color.
They say that.
No color. They don't see color. They don't see nothing. We all Americans.
Yeah, all American.
But yet you telling him to save Black lives.
He said here, come on, Lamar Jackson. Step up and save Black lives by getting vaccinated. Lamar Jackson has a responsibility to be better than this, not just because he's a quarterback of the Super Bowl contending team in Baltimore, but because whether he likes it or not, his role model for a significant part of the Black community. He doesn't need to be contender for Deadspin's Idiot of the Month like Aubrey Huff. So frankly, it's unacceptable for that Jackson said that he's still on the fence about being vaccinated after testing positive for COVID-19 for the 2nd time in 8 months. I didn't even know you can catch it twice. Some people can, I know. But
in the beginning, they said if you get it once, you cannot get it again.
So he got it twice.
They changed it.
But he's treated like it's like a little sniffle.
Yeah.
Cause he said he tested for it and was like, "I'll show you."
Been leaving that window open at nighttime. Then got a cold.
He got it twice, and he just like, so when is it? What is it really? Let me show y'all what he said.
What the? Again? Like, it was crazy. You know, I was heartbroken because I wasn't looking forward to that at all. You know, right before camp, it was like, not again. Like, not right now, you know. But it's over with. It's over with.
Nah, he just was like, I didn't want to get it before camp because, you know, NFL has very strict rules. So he wasn't even worried about actually having it.
And he was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this.
No, he was saying like, man, I want to play. I don't want to have to sit out. So he wasn't even worried about.
He wasn't worried about a respiratory, the machines or anything.
Nothing.
He was just like.
strong as hell. His body just fight it off.
That's that Negro in him.
You know, they said, a thing came out saying basically, if you just work out, you good.
It's for
no, hold on. Let me rephrase that. That it helps.
So people who are concerned
hold on, I gotta clarify this.
Clean it up.
If you work out, it helps, but it is not a cure or something that deters you from getting COVID. All right, go ahead.
You're not exempt.
You're not exempt. Go ahead.
So it's really for plump people and elderly people
plump
who are already about to
burst open. But I feel it's a personal decision. I'm just going to keep my feelings to my family and myself, said Jackson, who spoke about the vaccine to reporters at practice on Monday. I'm focused on getting better right now. I can't dwell on on that right now. How everybody else feels.
He can't have that type of opinion.
So they went into this article trying to convince him to get vaccinated. They did the same thing to LeBron. When they came out against him on Fox News and
LeBron James is not vaccinated?
He hasn't disclosed it. He said it's a private matter. It's none of your business.
Which goes into OSHA.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to ask people.
No, it's not. It's
their
not
medical
OSHA.
history.
Is that OSHA? That's not OSHA.
That's OSHA.
Is it?
Yes. How can it not be OSHA?
It wasn't his employers asking him. It was reporters asking him.
Okay.
But he was like, I'm not going to disclose that. Like, I ain't talking about that. And they was like, oh, this is not wrong. He's speaking hesitancy to get vaccinated. It was like,
no, he's speaking mind your fucking business.
It was somebody else that did that too.
That's what he's speaking.
It was someone else that said, I'm not answering it.
I don't answer questions.
I don't answer questions. But yeah, they're trying to get LeVar. Let me say LeVar. Shout out to LeVar, but they're trying to get athletes. They've been trying that since last year though. Trying to get athletes to push it on people. And I can't think of anybody who's done it. Athletes, at least. I'm trying to think of one that's pushed it. Ain't none of them pushed it.
No.
Entertainers have, actors have, but I don't know anybody who's an athlete that has.
Politicians have too.
Yep. Look at this. Supreme Court justice won't block college COVID-19 vaccine mandate. So there were students that tried to go to the Supreme Court to have them block the mandate for college, saying that they have a right to, have the right to be in control of their body and all that other stuff. And they was like, no.
But
yeah,
you get to if that was the thing, they would immediately. But isn't it the same thing as wanting to get a abortion?
Pretty much.
My body, my choice.
But they saying now that if you decide not to be vaccinated, that you actually are impacting other people, not just yourself.
Who am I impacting?
Other people.
Oh, because they can't. What can't they do? They're already doing.
Well,
they're going to restaurants. They're going to
no. And that's the thing going on right now. It's gonna get bad. There's a strong, tense, very tense. There's a lot of tense. What's the damn word? Jesus Christ! I just forgot the damn word I'm about to use.
There's a lot of
energy being created between the vaccinated.
Tense.
Yeah, tense energy being. Okay. I just said that name. I was thinking another word.
Oh,
but there's a lot of tense energy being created between unvaccinated and vaccinated people. Well, now the vaccinated people are saying that the reason why they're not allowed to do what they want to do, go where they want to go, the reason why they still got to wear masks and stuff, is the fault of unvaccinated people. You hear me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're trying to pressure people who are unvaccinated into getting vaccines and calling you selfish because you're viewing, your health as far as injecting something into your body that you're not really sure of. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's your choice. You wanted to get it, you get it. Oh, but you ain't, quote unquote, you might have to get a third one so you don't feel that secure.
Supreme Court Justice Amy Connie Barrett on Thursday refused to block a plan by Indiana University to require students and employees to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Isn't that one of Trump's people? Amy Barrett? That's the one they said, oh, she's a Trumpist, she's a Republican, she's
a conservative. We know that when she get in there, it's gonna be she's gonna go in there and switch it up.
Yeah, she's so extreme right, but
she's right there in the middle.
Right there with the rest of them. She said, the students said in court papers that they have a constitutional right to bodily integrity, autonomy, and of medical treatment choice in the context of vaccinated mandate. They wanted the high court to issue an order barring the university from enforcing the mandate. 7 of the students qualified for a religious exemption. Religious exemptions are going to be hard to get. There's certain people that's using the vegan exemption because some of the stuff is being made through the help of animals testing. So the vegan can say, but now they're trying to make people who use that exemption prove they're vegan.
How do you prove you're vegan?
I guess they test you. Or something.
For meat?
I don't know if they test you for meat. I think they test you to see what your diet is or something.
They can test me.
They have to prove you're vegan.
I don't eat meat.
So, and also religiously, if you try to use a religious exemption, you can't just use write a wonky letter and say I'm this religion. I can't use it. You got to have a real. So now they're testing people. It's not really as effective. 90% of people are not going to be able to use their religious exemption. I think you have to get like an actual registered church pastor. The pastor
if you try to say I'm Jewish, so it goes against my religion, or
yeah, if you're Christian or Catholic or Mormon, you have to get real people to sign off on it.
But you don't have to go to a church to be
well, they're trying to make
Christian.
They kind of make an argument you do.
But how can I? The churches were closed for a year and a half.
And that's the thing. They're saying that the churches are closed because of you. The churches are closed because of you.
Man, these people are fucking crazy.
So, yeah.
They trying to get us.
They gonna get
we in the fight. We are in the fight of our lives.
They gonna get most people. So when we talk about the colleges, we got to talk about the black colleges. Historically, black colleges grapple with COVID-19 prevention and vaccine mandates. So obviously, they really got to be careful with how they go about it
because niggas will drop out.
Niggas will say, "Fuck this, I ain't," But Howard already did mandate it, if I'm not mistaken. As you can see here, historically black colleges and universities are grappling with whether to mandate COVID-19 vaccinations this academic year, with the coronavirus continuing to spread at higher rates in communities of color. Compulsory COVID testing for students is becoming more common at HBCUs, and some schools are requiring vaccination for students and faculty to be on campus. On a typical morning at Alabama State University, at HBCU in Montgomery, where vaccinations are not mandatory, but facial coverings are, students might spot the school president, Quentin Ross, patrolling academic buildings on campus. So he's literally walked throughout the campus to make sure.
They got their mask on?
Yeah. Historically black colleges and universities, many of which are located in southern states, seeing a sharp rise in cases, are instituting strict COVID-19 prevention protocols as they seek to keep campuses open and give students a more normal experience this fall. North Carolina AT&T is
North Carolina A&T
is requiring that students who do not offer proof of vaccination be tested each week. The school has zero tolerance policy, and students who do not comply will have their access cards for dormitory rooms and meal plans shut off. So you can't get to your room or eat. This is just on the college level.
Damn.
I'm definitely very concerned about going to school this year, that it could be a bad school year. We saw people that were sick. but I think we'll end up seeing students that are sicker, more and more symptomatic. We'll get a lot more of that, said Pondot Webb, NCAT's Director of Student Health Services. And that's why we are pushing vaccination as much as we possibly can. The Greensboro University is giving out free T-shirts and gift cards to students who get vaccinated and holding weekly drawings for large prizes, including free housing, free parking, and homecoming experience that Webb said will give the winner access to football team's locker room. The hell you want to go in the locker room? But as
go in the locker room. Why the hell they want to go in the locker room like they are actual real?
I don't know.
Like
It's college level. It's the college level, so maybe it's important. I don't know. But as with the other public institutions as part of the University of North Carolina system, the HBCU that has approximately 13,500 students cannot mandate that students and faculty get COVID-19 immunization shots.
This is dirty. What I'm about to say. What if y'all said we'll get reparations?
Hey.
You want reparations, you got to get a vaccine.
I wonder how many
Black
put the shot right here.
Y'all gonna continue to torture us and put us through this shit.
But as with the other public, it would be much easier if there were just a mandate from the state to say, hey, everybody required to have it, Webb said. Without that being in place, I feel like we're constantly justifying the decision that we're making. So, yeah, they went through the HBCUs.
People going to be dropping out left and right.
I don't know if people going to be dropping out. I don't think people going to be dropping out.
Well, why don't they give people who don't want to get vaccinated the option of just continue to do it online?
Yeah.
Couldn't they like set up something that you could where students could it's like being in the classroom with the other students, but they just at home or in their wherever if they don't want to come back to the campus?
Yeah. Let me see something. Oh. This is the big one. Biden eyes tougher vaccine rules without provoking backlash.
Now, get backlash.
Remember back a couple months ago, about 10 months ago now, when Biden when Biden made the argument that Trump, 8 months into the pandemic, didn't have a plan.
Didn't have a plan, wasn't being tough on
anything, didn't know what he was doing. He said, I have a plan. Well, guess what? We're 8 months into Biden's campaign. I mean, Biden's administration.
It's getting worse and worse.
And no, he's revealing his plan. When I tell you what he got planned, listen. So Biden's administration has been discussing different ways to convince people to be vaccinated. Right. I just want to show you this one. Just this one. Okay. Right here. That's what we want. Now listen what this says. Still, while more severe measures such as mandating vaccines for interstate travel, or changing how the federal government reimburses treatment for those who are unvaccinated and become ill with COVID-19 have been discussed, the administration worried that they will be too polarizing at this time. The administration official said the interstate travel vaccination requirement was not under consideration at the moment. That does not say that they won't be implemented in the future, as public opinion continues to shift toward requiring vaccination as a means to restore normalcy.
So this is almost like how we said it was going to be in order for you to go to another state.
No. In order to use the interstate highways.
The interstate highways?
Yes. The argument they're making here is, in order to use the interstate highways.
So now it's going to be in order to drive. So they're going from the plane.
No, they haven't did the plane yet. They haven't mandated on planes. That's the point. If they would have said, okay, you can't get on planes without being vaccinated, then people would be like, out of anger, all right, it'd be an uproar, and people would just say, I'll just drive.
So they're going to start at the lower level and move their way up to the higher level.
So first they stop you from driving.
How you going to get COVID in your car driving? You know what? I see stupid people all the time in their cars with mask on, with the window up, driving. How you going to get COVID-19 in your car? You driving.
So how are you supposed to travel between states if you can't get on the interstate highway? You can't. You cannot get to most states without getting on the interstate highway for the most part.
This is why I booked that flight in September.
So first now they haven't considered this yet. They say
it's already on the books right now, waiting for it to be passed.
They're clearly pushing it out there to see how you feel about it first. But then the second one, changing how the federal government reimburses treatment for those who are unvaccinated and become ill with COVID-19. That's the Social Security and what's the name? What's the name of it?
Your pension,
the health. Not Social Security. Jesus Christ. My Medicare and Medicaid.
Medicare and Medicaid.
That's what that is. So basically, right now, if you are a person who comes down who has COVID,
your medical.
You go to the hospital. If you go to the hospital, that's $15,000 given to the hospital, and $32,000 if they put on a ventilator, I think. So what the government is saying is, if that person is unvaccinated, we're not going to pay for them to get treatment to the hospital. So the hospital have to take the charge themselves. They have to pay for it themselves. So the hospital might start turning people away who are not
they're already
vaccinated.
doing that.
That's what I'm saying. The hospital may begin to turn people away who are not vaccinated with COVID and who have COVID.
That's something that really wasn't getting any major attention. Last year, in the beginning of last year, the hospitals were literally turning away people who they felt like, you ain't gonna make it no way. So we're just gonna not accept you. And we know who they were doing that to. They were mostly doing that to the elderly and the seniors.
Yeah. So you're not gonna be able to travel. You possibly in the future, you're not gonna be able to drive on interstate highways. And because they're gonna start with that, obviously, and then it's gonna turn into trains and buses and planes. Because you already can't travel outside. You can't travel into America if you're not vaccinated. So I don't know if you leave the country and try to come back if you can get in if you're not vaccinated.
I keep saying this. September or after September, it's gonna go down. I don't know what it is.
That's crazy. There's another crazy story I want to show y'all. Look at this. Anti-vax nurse injects 8,600 with saline instead of COVID-19 vaccine. Police. Now, this woman is a German woman. She's a woman in Germany. And I guess she's a anti-vaxxer, as they say. And
well, how'd they find out?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe she said something. Maybe they went with finding out all the people she treated and just came to that number on his own.
But these people been going around having a sugar pill. You know, they give you a sugar pill saying you're immune.
Placebo. You're a placebo. So they probably like, I'm protected. But anyway, she gave them a false sense of immunity. A German nurse is being investigated. Yes, she's German. A German nurse has been investigated for allegedly injecting thousands of people with placebo instead of a coronavirus vaccine. Based on a witness testimony, police investigator Peter Beer said that he was a reasonable suspicion that the rogue medical professional, she went rogue, had administered shots of saline solution to up to 8,600 patients who were slated to receive a COVID-19 jab. I'm totally shocked by this episode, a local counselor said in an alarming switcheroo, which reportedly occurred in March and April in Fries Island in northern Germany. It's unknown why the shot blocker, Lord have mercy, reportedly a Red Cross nurse had injected people with blanks. However, she had reportedly broadcast anti-vax views on social media, investigators reported. And while the faux jab was harmless, it may have disproportionately affected elderly people who are at the greater risk of contracting the virus.
They called her a shot blocker. The old switcheroo.
The old switcheroo, bucko. But yeah.
Well, why would you? If y'all, they didn't find out about her views until now that she was posting on social media.
Yeah, they probably went back and found it. Also, exclusive. What's going on? At least 74 people on Martha's Vineyard have tested positive for COVID-19 since Barack Obama's maskless 60th birthday bash. The most cases on the island since April.
If that island could talk on what happened on Barack Obama's birthday,
a total of 74 people on Martha's Vineyard tested. The spike in cases is more than a week out since April. I'm sorry, the spike in cases more than any week since April on Martha's Vineyard. Health officials note it's still too early to know whether the hundreds of guests and workers at the maskless parties have contributed to the surge in cases. At this time, we are not aware of any cases connected to the Obama party. A Tisbury health agent and Board of Health spokesperson told
That's some
Daily Mail.
bullshit.
It's a little too early, and the only way we're going to know is through comprehensive contact tracing. Hundreds of people attended the party, flying in from around the country and congregating under tents where partiers danced, ate, and drank the night away.
Well, you know what? Instead of them testing for COVID-19, you should test for sexually transmitted disease. I bet you that number would be far higher than the COVID-19 test. Test for that number.
This is their night out. They had a ball. Look, everybody was showing up. I can't.
Chrissy Teigen and John Legend, I get so fucking tired of seeing them.
You just tested up when you saw him. Oh, man.
Damn.
So, yeah, man.
Him and that lady boy.
Oh, shit, Tran. Another thing that's going on right now, and we kind of knew the hustlers all. Look, hustlers are going to hustle. You can't stop a hustler. So,
I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, homie. I'm a hustler.
Whenever there's a chance to hustle. Hold up. Where's that? Custom officers seize shipment of fake vaccination cards headed to New Orleans. There's also some in New York, and there was 2 Hawaiians that were caught in California. Hustlers are going to hustle. They know there are people who gonna want the fake cards.
Anybody got a mole? Who's the mole? I need to get in contact with him.
No, you mean you said mole? Damn, Travis, you saw how to touch. You meant to say who the plug.
Oh, who the
Jesus
plug?
Christ. You just invalidated everything we said earlier, by the way. You said mole. Nigga, that's a rat.
What?
That's a rat.
Oh, yeah.
Mole,
my mind was thinking.
Jesus, Travis. We just invalidated everything we just said. This nigga said mole instead of plug. All right, man.
I meant to say, who's the plug?
It don't even sound right now. God damn. But yeah, hustlers gonna hustle. And how much further would that go? Because you can't stop it. You can't stop people.
Unless it can go further if they make it almost like your passport. It has a certain paper or certain paper they use for vaccines, and they can see it.
Shouldn't they do the same thing with voting ballots?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Should do the same thing with them. But
they should make it where you can't scan it twice. You can't scan it no more than one time.
Hold on, let me what's the other story? We're not even gonna go into that. We'll go straight to this.
Damn, I called somebody a rat.
You said, what a mole, like you got a mole. Like, nigga, I ain't no, my homie ain't no rat. What's wrong with you? You ain't gonna snitch on nobody. But hell, look at this. Look at this right here.
Man, I've been working for fucking 6 days a week, 14 hours a day. I'm entitled to a slip up.
Okay. Terry Crews on shower debate. If you ain't been sweating, you don't need a shower.
Terry Crews, big sour nasty ass.
Why did he get in on this?
You gotta defend his white daddy.
Wasn't this was Ashton Kutcher and his wife that started this, saying they don't wash their kids if they don't see them they don't see any dirt on them?
Well, check the underneath their feet. White people are known for having dirty ass feet. I'm sure their feet was dirty.
There was a debate years ago. Was it years ago or a couple years ago?
And their hair starts to stink.
Well, they talked about do people who wash their legs.
Well, you know people ain't washing their legs. You see rust on them. That's the saying in the South. Your rusty ass legs, your rusty ass neck. Shit.
So he got into the argument, and people obviously started joking on him. Said, "Damn, every time you talk, you fall lower on the totem pole. Damn, bro, what's going on?" But I think there's a real reason that they are pushing this narrative, because it's only in California or Hollywood people.
Oh, they're running out of water. Oh, did I?
One down, Travis.
Will you build it up?
You build it up? Yeah, just go ahead and just ignore.
Ignore what?
The build up. All right. Fuck it. Is this the same article?
We talked about this 2-3 episodes ago.
All right, whatever.
The drought.
The Western drought is bad. Here's what they should know. Well, here's what you should know about it. This is the real reason why they're pushing people to take less showers and stuff.
Yeah. We did a video. Water wars are coming.
Yeah, water wars. Yeah.
Please go check that video out.
Yeah, water wars. They already here. They already battling over
Professor
water.
Griff.
Yeah.
Did a podcast on that.
Look at that. Look at this shit. Look at the water level.
When the plagues are on your ass, there's nothing you can do.
And there's been some weird weather up here.
I don't want to talk about the weather, man. I don't want to talk about the weather.
It's just some very strange weather up here. All right, let's get to some more politics. We're going to talk about defund the police. What are your beliefs on defund the police? Right quick. When they say defund the police, they mean take funding and give it to the community. Whether it be doing community projects, certain organizations with it instead of giving it to police. You agree with that?
Where's the money going to as far as the police? Is it going to their
It's
salary?
going into their
pension?
Salaries, going into their training, going into the guns and equipment they use, going into all that stuff. Cars.
Well, they need that stuff.
So you agree with funding them more or what?
I don't think they need to be funded more, but I don't think that you should have to take money from the police to fund the black community. I think the government should be funding black community or the businesses, the businesses and stores.
You said what?
Huh?
The government should be funding the businesses?
The government should be funding black people.
What do you mean funding black people?
Like, I don't think you should take money from the police officers to give it to you saying giving it to the black community, right?
It's not really giving it to the community. It's building stuff with the money instead of giving it to police.
Well, it's necessary for the police to have training. It's necessary
It's not just training though. Yeah, I agree with you, but it's not just training.
What else is it?
I can say equipment, all that stuff.
They need to update their equipment.
But you think they're not overly militarized?
In some ways, yes.
So you want to get funded more, less?
I said that I don't think they should be funded any more than what their fundings that they're already getting.
Just keep what they got.
I would have to see the budget and know
a lot of
what
places is about 11-15 million.
I would have to see the budget and everything to see, how to judge it. I just
seems like you're trying to walk that tightrope.
I ain't trying to double talk.
No, I ain't saying you double talk. You seem like you're trying to walk. Oh yeah, I ain't saying you're trying to double talk. I'm saying you seem like you're trying to walk that tightrope. But we're gonna listen to Cory Booker. Yeah, Cory Booker.
Whoa.
Cory Booker spoke about defund the police because now the Democrats are trying to separate themselves from defund the police because I think they believe it's going to negatively affect them come 2022 and possibly 2024 in the midterms and in the presidential
The Democrats are finished.
So we're going to show you what Booker had to say about
Cory Booker.
What's going on?
Africa. And I will tell you right now, thank God, because there's some people who have said that they're members of this deliberative body that wanted to fund the police, to my horror. And now this senator is giving us the gift that finally, once and for all, we can put to bed this scurrilous accusation that somebody in this great esteemed body would want to defund the police. So let all of us, 100 people, not walk, but sashay down there and vote for this amendment and put to rest the lies. I am sure I will see no political ads attacking anybody here over to defund the police. I would ask unanimous consent to add something else to this obvious bill. Can we add also that every senator here wants to defund the police, believes in God, country, and apple pie? Thank you.
Man, they be acting their ass off.
But here's the thing. There are Democrats that ask to defund the police. So it's kind of strange. He's like this scurrilous attack that said we wanted to. There are. As a matter of fact, one of your fellow Democrats, Cory Bush, is her name. She came out and said that they need to be defunded. Hold on. I don't know what. Okay. Cops fired. Oh, so sorry.
Man, production need to get it together today. Y'all need to be on your cues.
Hey, just let me live for a second. But Cori Bush, she said that she wants us at least to defund the police. And obviously, I think they did like a what do they call it? They did a vote. What the hell is the name of it? They held a poll to see how many people wanted to defund the police, and 70% said they are against defund the police.
That speaks a lot.
And I think 68% said they don't believe cops are racist, and basically it was a lot of support for the police.
Who was on the poll? Who took this
we
poll?
do have to answer that question too. But also, remember the mayor of
was this poll taken in Middle America?
I don't know, but remember the mayor of New York? Not the mayor of New York. I'm sorry, but the mayor. What is he a mayor of? The black guy who ran for mayor in New York. He's a former cop.
Was it Manhattan?
I don't know. The point is, he ran for mayor in New York, and he's a former cop, and he won.
Yeah,
because people have been saying, I don't know if it's true or not, that there's a rise in crime across the country.
Oh, definitely there is a riot. Well, there's been crime in the country. Let's be particular. These homeless people, they can just go into the store and steal, take whatever they want.
Oh yeah, remember? Didn't they pass a bill? Or that's not a bill. Didn't they pass like a law or something that said that if you go into a store and steal something, they're not allowed to chase you?
No, you're not. And we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody goes into the store and steals something, you are not allowed to chase them out the store or pursue them.
There were videos popping up on the internet. People just walking in the store, just
you supposed to call the police.
They was just taking stuff, dumping.
Police, help! That's what you're supposed to do.
So they said violent crime is up. There also was a article in Seattle where they said violent crime is up, and they're taking money.
I can tell you who the violent crime is.
And they're taking money and they're putting it towards the communities because they're saying that there's a lot of violent crime happening. So yeah,
white people here, they committing the crimes. They own that heroin and that meth. They been committing the fucking crimes here, stealing stuff, looting, going into people's houses, robbing them. Yeah, well, they've been doing it.
So as I said, Cori Bush asked for the defund the police, and there were 2 cops that were fired for guarding her without the permission of the department. So 2 police officers were guarding her, like that's their job. She's a congresswoman. You guard Congress. They were fired for playing security for her.
They mean they don't like her, huh?
Yeah, they basically saying, "How dare you
talk shit about us?"
Talk shit about us and ask for protection from us.
They want her to hire her own personal team.
Yeah, 2 St. Louis deputies were dismissed last month for working on Progressive Representative Cori Bush's security detail without permission.
I bet you they were black.
Days before, the squad member defended spending tens of thousands on campaign dollars on private protection while pushing to defund the police. St. Louis Sheriff Vernon Belts told KMOV that he initially warned now former deputies Tylence Jackson and Maurice Thompson.
I told you they were black.
To quit moonlighting as muscle for Bush.
Moonlighting.
To fill out the proper forms after they accompany her on a tour in St. Louis jails in April. However, Betts said that he was told by Veteran Affairs Police several weeks later that Jackson and Thompson were providing security for Bush again, in addition to violating policy by not getting approval to work a secondary shift. Now that Jackson or Thompson have license to work private security, Betts told. Jackson claimed Thursday that he and Thompson were dismissed because they didn't push the agenda of the sheriff on the client. I do feel that the hand that was dealt to us was unfair and unjust, Jackson told. You just let us go, but you still have a plethora of individuals doing that, but you don't say anything. I'm sure the reason why you were kicked off is because you defended her.
I'm pretty positive.
I'm sure there's other officers doing it, but they're not doing it for her.
But at the same time, if you're not supposed to be doing it, you shouldn't have did it.
But he's like, everybody else is doing it, but you're coming after us.
You're not everybody else, though.
You're coming at
like, man, you're not everybody else.
You're coming after us because it's Corey Bush.
You're not gonna be treated the same.
We don't know if they're black.
Who?
Those two dudes.
Maurice.
We don't know if they black. We don't know.
Man, they black.
This is the dude who said they were fired. The black dude, St. Louis Sheriff Vernon Belts, insists the 2 deputies were fired for not following proper procedure on working second shifts. So he trying. Remember back in North Carolina, there was a scandal that happened when the police officers were, what they call it, giving each other extra hours. They were stealing hours, basically. They were stealing money from the state, from the city, by working over hours. They were doing a whole overtime. They were stealing overtime money by the thousands, getting caked up, working overtime shifts.
Caked up, bagged up, coined up, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah, I remember that shit. So maybe that's what they were accusing him of. That dude trying to steal money. He's trying to get extra shift for money, trying to play. I'm playing security detail. Bullshit.
that dude said bullshit.
Y'all trying to get
not
money.
On my watch.
Not on my watch.
That was
Ivana. Didn't she come out and defend police?
I'm not for sure.
She did. Ayana.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, she came out and defended police officers. So good on her, I guess.
They protected that. That's her damn security detail.
Africa.
I want to show this video here because we're about to get into some funny shit. This woman got on television to convince people to take the vaccination, and you can clearly tell
she acted.
She had to get right. Time to get into the mode. Get the emotions out.
Thespian.
And then she tried to act it out, and it just fell flop.
Get it together. Get it together.
Watch this shit, yo.
Doctors like Pia Myers, who had this message.
I encourage everybody to please take this Delta variant very seriously due to the transmissibility. It is incredibly contagious, and our children are getting sick. I can't do this.
Clearly overcome with emotion. Doctors like Pia Myers, who had this message.
I encourage everybody to please take this Delta variant very seriously due to the transmissibility. It is incredibly contagious, and our children are getting sick. I can't do this.
She had the white woman shakes.
Listen, my nigga. She started, her eyes got bold. She said, I can't do this. She started laughing at the end. She started laughing.
She's like, it's getting hilarious.
The shake was the funny part. What are you doing?
I don't know what she was doing.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. They ain't the first time this happened. Remember when this shit first started? You had a whole bunch of videos that came out on the news. We're talking about back in last March, April, May, when they had videos of these big trucks being loaded with bodies, and it was like, God damn, people just dropping like that.
They had the coroners just out there in the street, just lifting up bodies,
and it was like, damn, what is going? This was mainly New York, but it was like, what the hell is going on? People were scared out of their damn
so
mind.
Many people had COVID. It was people that was on fire in line waiting, like in the movie "Don't Be a Menace to South Central" about drinking your juice to the hood.
Yeah, people just dropping like crazy.
Yeah. People was just standing on.
But then when it really came out, it was like, no, that wasn't.
The hospital, the damn nurses in the hospital was they was doing challenges.
They were doing TikTok challenges when they were supposed to be packed and full.
Supposed to be packed and full, but the hospital is so empty. They beat dancing, break dancing, having karaoke night in a damn hospital.
The damn news stations were lying. They was having people do setups with fake cars and bodies on the ground. It was CNN, MSNBC. That was them doing those fake things. Fox News, like they call them fake news.
Speaking of CNN, Rachel, what's her name?
Maddow. They finally, she left, didn't she?
She's considered leaving because Trump is no longer in office anymore, and she don't got shit to talk about.
Pretty much. She's considered leaving, or she left.
She's considering. She don't know. She may leave at the end of her contract.
Oh, she's doing that for negotiation purposes. She wanted to give her more money.
Get her ass out of there.
She
don't talk about shit.
I don't really watch none of it.
I don't watch it either, but what I do hear, the clips I do see of and I do watch, shit ain't worth watching.
Well, we said the same thing about Black News Channel.
They on the same level. They part of the Democratic Party.
They all useless at this point.
It's a different shade.
Pretty much. Speaking of defund the police, I want to show y'all this clip here.
Is that Reverend Jesse?
Yeah, we're going to get to it.
Jackson?
We're going to get to it. Look at this right here. And this story was crazy. This was from a couple months ago. There was a girl who has a podcast. And in the podcast, she was like, F police, F them, they don't mean nothing. And after her podcast, she got in her car and was driving. She accidentally ran over a cop. And it was crazy. I'm going to show you the video. That was crazy.
Woman is in tears as she's charged with mowing down a police officer while driving drunk.
I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? I'm sorry that I did.
Now look at this. It's the same woman just hours earlier as she live streams a podcast in which she appears to be drinking shots and washes it down with Snapple. She ends the podcast this way.
The police. Where are you coming from?
The dead officer, Anastasio Sakos, was directing traffic at an accident scene on the Long Island Expressway when Jessica Bouvet allegedly plowed into him at around 2 a.m.
Cops say the woman with her front windshield shattered fled the scene, sending other cops diving out of her way. When they chased her down, they say she threw her car into reverse and rammed a police car before they could take her into custody.
The 32-year-old suspect allegedly told cops she smoked marijuana before she got into her car. 43-year-old Sakos leaves a wife and 2 children. He was a beloved figure in his neighborhood.
You're heartbroken. Yes.
At his daily briefing, Mayor Bill de Blasio called for a moment of silence.
It was heartbreaking.
What do you want to say to the officer's family?
Was this real?
Okay, hold on.
This is
an old story, but so what they're saying happened is she left her podcast after saying F the police. She got out there, she ran over one person, then she drove through a crowd of them and they had to dive out the way. Then she put it in reverse and crashed into a police car. They're describing that was no accident.
That was intentional.
What they're describing was intentional. But she only one person got hit. She seemed like she didn't see him or something and she hit him.
They're trying to make it seem like it's intentional.
Yeah, they're trying to make it seem like she was just a rampage, just try to run over 10 cops.
Her intent was to kill as many officers as she could.
Now I probably should look that story up and see what she was charged with other than more than likely murder.
I mean, I can't see anything else she would be charged with.
I'm saying like, did they find details that she did try to that she did try to run over a bunch of
this story
cops?
is fake or that's judgment. Because how do you talk shit and then you it's kind of weird.
Maybe the spirit jumped on her. I don't know. But she was on one.
Take that one out.
But let's show you. I want y'all to see what our black leaders have for us. This is Congressman Jamal Bowman. He's now pushing that hip hop. He says here, hip hop is the seed of black culture. It started on Bronx corners and now transcends borders. Senator Schumer and I introduced the hip hop resolution to officially recognize the contribution of hip hop to the cultural fabric of America.
No reparations.
Exactly. I don't know what this does.
They gave you Juneteenth, now they're giving you this.
This isn't really a holiday. It's like,
which they didn't really give you Juneteenth.
I don't know what this is. Like, let me show you the video right quick. Hold on. Just hold on. We're going on. All right.
Dreams come true. Everything is easy.
If you don't know me by now, I doubt you'll ever know me. I never won a Grammy, I won't win a Tony.
Yeah, Cash Money Records where dreams come true. Everything is easy, baby. Leave it up to Weezy, baby.
Look at what came in the mail. I'm staring at some arm and hammer. So go grill and a baby mama. Black Cadillac in a back of peppers. Back of questions with no answers.
Cause we're the almost nearly extinct. We rappers as role models. We rap, we don't think.
I know murder, conviction, burners, boosters, burglars, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers dead with kids, and I wish I was fed forgiveness.
As I leave, believe I'm starving, but when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of Compton. We got to fight the power.
Congressmen should be more worried about that fucking HR 40 bill than this shit.
Remember when Kamala Harris said about, I was smoking weed and listening to Tupac, but she was in college in a time when Tupac wasn't rapping, and it was like, what? She also, when she was asking about Tribe Called Quest, gave Phife Dawg a shout out like he was still alive. Even though at that point,
who?
Phife Dawg from Tribe Called Quest. I'll show you. Look at this shit.
Talking about Phife. A Tribe Called Quest. I'm talking about Phife. A Tribe Called Quest. I'm talking about Phife.
That laugh is nasty.
It's a nasty witch laugh.
It brings no good energy to you when she laughs. It's so
fake.
It's so noticeably fake.
Showing all your teeth.
Now, Jesse Jackson had a real. Is this a real nigga moment, or is this? He's not a politician for black people. He's just a man. Is this a real nigga moment or not? Let me show y'all this. Drunk Jesse Jackson.
He's drunk.
Yeah,
I thought he was a pastor.
You tell me if he drunk. You tell me if this is drunk or not.
I'm with the red, baby. He's fucking with the dog.
Jesse Jackson just said we outside. Did you just hear that? Jesse Jackson. Hold on, I gotta play that again. Hold on. We outside. If he said we outside, we really are in 2021. Jesse Jackson drunk on the corner with some hood niggas talking about we outside.
In the highways.
He sounds like he effing with the dime. he touched me. Nigga. But yeah. Boosie.
What Boosie say now?
Boosie feels like he's been attacked unfairly. Boosie feels he's been attacked. So he has made a song to voice his opinion that he's being attacked. Boosie Badass made a song called Me Against the World. He got kicked off Instagram twice.
How you get kicked off Instagram twice?
When you speak your mind. Watch this right here.
I'm the bad guy. Don't understand me.
The trouble made the beat. He only had to play it once.
But I survived. Thanks.
I remember this beat. I know this beat.
You know what they gonna do? Try to fuck up my money. If you straight, you don't even got an opinion no more. Who gon' fight for me? Who gon' fight for me? I'm real with me. I ain't tripping. I ain't never had a problem with the gay pride. But in this world, there's no opinion if you straight pride. Better watch your kids, It's a new day now. Bernie Mac could be banned if he was still alive.
True. That's true. Bernie Mac. If Bernie Mac did that joke, I want American cookies.
So far, he ain't told no lies in this song.
Gays on the album cover, and some ain't even gay. But the majors told them do it for the album sake. People say.
What, you hear what he said?
He said the labels told him to do it for the album's sake.
He said he's not even gay, but he got on his album.
No Nas.
Told them do it for the album stages. People say I'm speaking hate, but they just don't know. Every gay person I know, I got love for. Maybe people need to think about how we feel inside. Or maybe you just ain't gonna find nobody real as I. Mama told me shut my mouth. Hell nah, man, I got him out. Just for keeping it real, I'm a problem. No, they wanna ban me.
Hey, put your soul in your music. When it's real shit, it's always gonna be good.
Yeah.
So Boosie feels like, and let me say this. It's fine to have an opinion, but sometimes you should shut the hell up. Loose lips sink ships.
That's true.
When you always got to have an opinion on something, when you always got to put your input out there, yeah, traction don't come your way sometimes. Sometimes you need to know to shut up. Yeah, I got my opinion on this. I disagree with what's going on, but you know what? Don't nobody need to know I disagree right now.
Pick and choose your battles. That's what I always say.
Move a certain way, people will know what you believe. If you move a certain way, people will know what you believe. You ain't got to say it.
Yeah.
So
action.
Sometimes you don't need to say it.
Action speaks louder than words.
Like, for instance, if you call yourself a pro-black person, you don't need to tell me.
Invest in
If I see
people.
who your woman is, where your kids at, I know who you are.
If you're an employer, who you employ, who you have around you.
You ain't got to tell me. I know based off your actions
like
who you are.
Big, what's his name? Big Mike?
Big Mike.
What's his
Killer
name?
Mike.
Killer Mike.
Yeah.
He
tell me all this stuff. Yeah, when I look around you, it's different.
Your damn manager is Jewish. I mean, it's a white man. I ain't gonna say Jewish. Cause
it's more than likely. Like, let's be honest.
And he tried to get away with that, saying, well, he's married to a black woman.
That ain't no better. That tells me even more about your political beliefs. But yeah, so Boosie feel like,
Boosie.
Speaking of feeling attacked, this is the last story of the video here, more than likely. How long do you think we've been going on? Like 2 hours?
This is about 3 hours.
I don't think no 3 hours.
3 hours.
We'll see. A black activist says 2 white men jumped him last summer. Now he's charged with assaulting his attackers. Oh, man. More than a year has passed now. This was August 3rd. This article was written. Since Von Vox Booker said a group of white men pinned him against a tree and threatened to get a noose.
Whoa.
On Monday, he stood outside an Indiana courthouse to address what his lawyer called a startling development. Booker, who is black, is now facing his own charges in connection to the incident. There's nothing more American than charging a black man in his own attempted lynching.
That is, whoa, that's a good. That's gonna be a quote from that man.
Quote.
That's gonna be a quote from that man.
There's nothing more American than charging a black man in his own attempted lynching.
That is a quote that his name is gonna go next.
Now let me say this. I hope you're not pulling a Juicy Smollett. I have to say it. Juicy did this to us.
That's true.
I hope you're not pulling the Juicy.
I don't think he's pulling the Juicy.
The incident, which occurred on July 4, 2020, near Bloomington, Indiana, I guess that is, resulting in 2 of the men receiving felony charges. On Friday, Sonia Learcamp, the special prosecutor for Monroe County, filed charges of felony assault and misdemeanor trespassing against Booker for the same incident. Booker's lawyer said Learcamp filed the charges despite having presented no new evidence since July 2020. It is unprecedented, attorney Catherine Lyle said in the news conference on Monday. I've been practicing well over 30 years in this state, and I have never seen a special prosecutor open a new case and file charges a year later.
Well, when it's a black man involved, new shit happens all the time.
Oh, I know the video. I'm going to show you. Booker said that he and his attorneys believe Learcamp is retaliating over his refusal to engage in a mediated resolution with the 2 men arrested in his assault. Booker said Monday he declined to do so because he would have to sign a confidentiality agreement and publicly forgive the men whose charges will be dropped. Now, let me ask this question.
Wow.
You know how sometimes
really crazy.
You know how sometimes these type of events will happen. The person will get charged, and for some reason, the person will come out and apologize on camera, and you'd be like, "Why are they apologizing to them?" Maybe all this time they've been signing these confidentiality, to get payment to forgive these men publicly.
No,
this whole time they've been doing it because of this. Maybe.
Money's not everything.
I'm not saying they should have did it. Maybe it's because they're not signing these agreements. I mean, they're signing these agreements. The reason why they apologize publicly, which makes me look at these people whose family of somebody who was killed by the police, and then they sue the state, and they come out after the charges and stuff, and they forgive and talk about healing. Are they signing agreements as well?
Like the one in Texas, what was his name?
I forgot his name too. Botham Jean.
He was Haitian, right?
One of those. I don't think he was Haitian. No, I think he was one of those Caribbean countries.
Caribbean. And
West
his brother,
West Indian.
We'll never forget his brother.
That was crazy. Hugging a woman, which clearly had a little. It was something there weird. Like, what's wrong with you, dude? But maybe that's what it is. Why they make these apologies, because they have agreements.
Yeah.
Booker said he and his attorney. I'm going to go back down. For the entire year, the special prosecutor has pursued and bullied me at every turn that if I didn't engage with the restorative justice, if I didn't let charges be dismissed, that she would charge me, Booker said. It wasn't out of any new evidence or any shocking revelation. It was simply that, once again, a black person telling a white person no, and they were going to punish me. In a statement on Washington Post, Learcamp noted that Booker is presumed innocent of the charges unless proven guilty. That being said, unlike Mr. Booker, I am ethnically restrained from commenting upon the evidence prior to this presentation or at trial. Learcamp said, I am doing my best to apply the law to the facts available to me and follow up the principle that is a nation of laws, not men. This is the video here. I remember this from last year.
In a Star Wars.
You're worse than
Okay.
the police.
You happy about this?
You're totally worse than the police. The police wouldn't even promote.
You happy about this? You nappy headed. You happy about this?
What do you call me?
Do it. You nappy headed.
What do you want to call me?
About this? You with your 5 white friends?
Don't say what I want to say.
You happy with your 5 white friends?
You
guys started all this. You put it in your film. Film it. Film it all. Come over here again. Come over here again. Film it.
This sucks. This sucks both ways, guys.
Come over here again.
This sucks both ways.
They always got.
Let's go. Come on.
You notice that the white woman kept saying, we're worse than the police. You notice that, right?
Yeah.
So clearly he wasn't Juicy Smollett. I didn't realize that was that story.
They always have war in their heart.
Booker, a local activist and member of the Monroe County Human Rights Commission, which advocates for residents' civil rights, made national headlines last summer after his Facebook posts and videos recounting the July 4th incident went viral. Booker said he and his friend were making their way to Lake Monroe, a reservoir about 10 miles east of Bloomington, to meet up with a group to watch a lunar eclipse in the park. Along the way, he encountered a white man wearing an oversized Confederate hat, with who Booker said began following them in an ATV. The man then stopped Booker and his friend and said they were walking on private property. Booker and his friend apologized and explained that the event organizer said that they had permission from the landowner to walk throughout the property. Soon after, Booker said that he and the member of the other group attempted to smooth over the dispute since more attendees would probably be walking on the property. But the discussion quickly became aggressive, Booker wrote on Facebook. As he walked away, some of the men started following him, yelling obscene remarks. Then two of them jumped me from behind and knocked me to the ground, Booker said in the post. He claims they dragged him, pinned his body against a tree, pounded on his head, and ripped out some of his hair. Video from the incident shows Booker on all fours, wedged between the tree and the man. Booker said he heard one of the men yell, "We're going to break his arms." Another, he shouted, "Get a noose." More people arrived on the scene, some of whom recorded parts of the altercation. One person can be heard in video begging the group, "Please let him go," referring to Booker. After they released Booker, one of the men is seen in a video clip yelling at him, calling him a nappy-headed. The man continued, "You happy about this? You happy with your 5 white friends?" Look, man. Black man, know your surroundings. You just can't be walking around through the woods because you got a white friend think you're good.
We don't go in the woods, no way.
Like, on some level, obviously what they did was rotten, but on some level, why you gotta be around these people?
And this goes back to when I used to talk about accountability, knowing your surroundings, preventing stuff from happening.
These type of things can only happen to you, for the most part, if you go around them.
He's a black activist?
I don't know if he's that type of black activist. He's a black man who's an activist.
Oh, okay.
But Why are you around these people?
They can't stay away from them.
You just, I guess you one black dude with all these white people, and it's just like you think you get good.
They love it. They just send attention.
I don't get
when niggas around, when you're around other niggas, it's hard to get that attention.
I don't care if she drags me back to the hanging tree. Booker said,
Damn.
I'm not going to back down from this. I am not going to just let these folks go on about their lives so they didn't victimize me. Oh, Lord. Like their crime didn't impact an entire community. I'm going to stand up for myself. In a statement, the NAACP branch said the charges against Booker are racially motivated. But for Booker being black, no one would have suggested that this was a criminal, said the statement, which Loftman read at the news conference. This is systematic racism in action. If the black man won't go along with letting them get off the hook, he will be punished. Yeah. Oh, man, oh, man.
Booker, you did it to yourself.
All I got to say is be mindful who you are around and move with caution at all times.
Well, I shouldn't say he didn't do it to himself. You know, he's able to roam freely wherever he wants to. That's what they tell you. But you got to have common sense.
You got to have common sense. You got to protect yourself at all times. I don't want to be around that. I'm not going to be in a situation where I'm around 10 white people. If I can help it, I'm not going to be in the woods with 10 white people. I'm just not. But anyway, I think we've been talking long enough. We stretched this out thin. This is a pretty slow week.
Yeah, sorry. This week was just dry.
We were looking for content, man. We dug deep. This is what best we could do. Hopefully it's not too agonizing. For you
Hopefully it's enjoyable.
Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. It was more of a conversation episode here. But yeah, y'all be safe, man. Please like, comment, subscribe on the video, share it. Let us know what you think in the comments. We will be chopping this up Monday. This will be chopped up videos that come out Monday, maybe even tomorrow. I might put it out tomorrow. But yeah, man, y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High, and peace, man.